Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Florida.
Colorado, Rocky Mountains, a hitter's paradise. Giancarlo Stanton's personal playground. Big G loves the Mile High, and it's loved him right back. Introducing the entertainer. Henderson Alvarez gets the ball for your viewing pleasure. It's a crucial road trip. It starts tonight. It's Miami and Colorado. Coors Field, downtown Denver, great setting, and a big weekend series for the Fish. The Marlins start this road trip here in Colorado on Star Wars night. Darth Vader just threw out the first pitch. There's plenty of Star Wars costumes. Look at that. Now that's creative. Getting ready for the Marlins and the Rockies. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Obi-Wan, Tommy Hutton.
That's right. R2D3, R3D2, R2D3.
Let's stick to baseball.
Let's stick to baseball, yeah.
Let's talk about this series.
Okay.
For the Fish, obviously it's an important one, but it's not a layup. The Rockies don't have a winning record, but in this ballpark, they're a completely different team.
You know, a lot of people will say, well, it's an easy series. You got a team that's in last place, terrible record, but you're right. They're 500 here. They have a lot of guys in their lineup that hit a whole lot better here at Coors Field.
Marlins have one guy in their lineup that owns this place, and he's not played that many games here. Giancarlo Stanton has hit well against the Rockies, especially in this ballpark.
Rich, Giancarlo Stanton has the highest OPS of any player here at Coors Field. Over 1,000, 1.421 OPS. He's hit 7 home runs in the 11 games that he's played against the Rockies here at Coors Field. Career against the Rockies pretty good, too. 28 games, a 323 average, 11 home runs, but 7 of those have come here. So he was the first one off the team plane last night. He couldn't wait to land in Denver.
And you get the sense if the Marlins are going to win this series, they're going to have to score more runs than they have been scoring, especially coming off the last homestand. This is an all-Venezuelan pitching matchup in this one. Henderson Alvarez goes for the Fish and Franklin Morales for the Rockies.
Yeah, the entertainer's been tweeting a little bit about it. He's looking forward to his matchup against his fellow countrymen. It's also his first ever start here at Coors Field. He pitched against the Rockies way back in April, early in the season, did not fare well. But the Marlins have played well when he's pitched. They're 16-7 in his 23 starts.
And he's a mile high tonight. So is Christian Yelich. This ballpark will always be special. Allison Williams and Yelly sit down. ready to go. Let's head down to the field. Allison Williams. A-Dub.
Rich, Christian Yelich about to lead things off for the Marlins. He's hitting well lately. He has 3 straight games with 3 hits and returns to a park where he had 3 hits in 1 game. Well, sort of. It was his major league debut last July 23rd here at Coors Field. He had a 3-for-4 night at the end of the night, but shortly thereafter, a scoring change took one of those hits away. So he finished officially in his debut 2-for-4. But he said whether it's 2 hits or 3 hits, either way, Coors Field will always be a special place for him to play.
I remember I slept about an hour and a half, that night before it, just because we had to get up early, and by the time you get done telling everybody kind of what's going on, like friends and family and stuff like that, it all happens fast. Slept at the hotel for about an hour when we got here in the morning, and then kind of just came here, and you got a lot of stuff going on that day. You feel like you're on the freeway, and it takes a little while just to get situated, and then by the time you go out there, obviously you got the nerves and stuff for your first game, and I remember it going by really fast and then kind of just crashing right afterwards, and I think I slept like 12 or 13 hours that next night because I was just so wiped out. But this place will always be special to me. A lot of great memories here, and it's good to be back.
And you had a good game.
Yeah, 2-for-4 now. It was 3-for-4, but I think they changed that one. I can't really argue it because it was a tough one for it to be a hit.
Is it cool though when you come back? Does it kind of take you back to last year a little bit here?
Yeah, walking in here for the first time again, it was kind of weird because it was just like the last time we were here was a debut, and it's been a little bit over a year now. But obviously some stuff's changed, and you don't have really as many nerves or anything like that going on now. But it's always gonna be special. This year, next year, however many after that.
And Yelly comes back to Denver feeling a mile high at the plate. He has a 9-game hit streak. In his last 10, he's hitting .463. Tonight he'll square off against the lefty, Franklin Morales. Yelich actually hitting better against lefties this year than righties. He's .303 against southpaws compared to .284 against righties on the year. So Yelich and the Marlins and the entertainer on the mound. Game 1 from Colorado when we come back right here on Fox Sports Florida.
Baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By AT&T Uverse TV. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 800-PICK-AT&T, mobilizing your world. By Checkers. Checkers brings big flavor for a small price. Feed your craving for quality for only $1. Cha-ching. By your South Florida Honda dealers and sfhondadealers.com. Cloudy day, a little bit of rain here and there in Denver, but it's Marlins and Rockies ready to go. And here come the Fish. Miami at 63 and 63. Jan Lexus brings you the starting lineup. We talked about Yelich in this ballpark. Jeff Baker gets a start against the lefty. We told you about Stanton here as well. Casey McGee is at third base. Marcell Ozuna has hit the Rockies very well in his young career. Jared Saltalamacchia's bat perking up. He had a real nice homestand. Danny Echeverria at short. Donovan Solano, the start at second, hits eighth. And Henderson Alvarez has swung the bat well this year. He is ninth. And it's Franklin Morales, the 28-year-old Venezuelan, who is on the mound for the Rockies.
He's been kind of a swing guy, Rich, in and out of the rotation. If he's not in the rotation, he's working out of the bullpen for Walt Weiss. He missed his last start, birth of his first child, so he missed some time with the Rockies, but kind of guy that can give you trouble, certainly left-handers. He's always been really tough on left-handed hitters.
So Yelich is ready to step in with Baker and Stanton to follow. Pinch-a-penny brings you the first pitch. And that would be strike one. Clint Fagan throwing balls and strikes with Tim Timmons at first, Tim Welke at second. Todd Titchener is over at third. Marlins a very nice homestand, winning 6 of 9. They've been very good since the All-Star break, going 19 and 13. Only the incredibly hot Washington Nationals have more wins in the National League. The Nationals right now trailing the Giants 3-2, top 6. Mike Redmond and the Fish opening here on a Friday. On to Anaheim for a 3-game set on Monday. And the road trip concludes with 3 in Atlanta. 0-2, it's held by Rosario. And a strikeout of Yelich opens the night for Morales.
They got the strikeout. It was a breaking ball, but kind of stayed inside. Look at the targets away. Christian Yelich, a pretty good swing. He just foul-tipped it, and you credit Rosario with hanging on.
Jeff Baker getting the start at first base. And Mike Redmond's been looking for someone to hit second all year long, and Baker gets the call in this game. Little twist there by Morales as he delivers a strike to Baker.
A couple of reasons Jeff Baker's in the lineup. Let's scout Morales a little bit before we tell you about Baker. Talk about the left-hander. Kind of wraps the ball when he throws. You see the little hesitation turn. His slider and cutter very similar. So because of that turn and the way he wraps the ball, at times tough to pick up.
But he carves up Baker. Morales comes right out of the chute, strikes out 2, and here comes Giancarlo Stanton. First, let's take a look at the Rockies defense.
All right, you look at the defense with Corey Dickerson, Drew Stubbs, a lot of speed in center, and Blackmon, Charlie Blackmon, the right fielder, Arenado, a Gold Glover, Rutledge, LeMahieu, and Morneau around the infield, and Willeen Rosario behind the plate.
So here's Stanton, and he sees a strike as well. Stanton's exploits in this ballpark well documented at the outset of the telecast. Big shift for Stanton, and a fastball misses in. They're pitching him in, and they're playing him in.
Yeah, we have seen some teams do this, but not a lot. With the Rockies, with the 3 on the left side of the infield.
Morales goes out and misses.
The one thing that can happen to Franklin Morales, he's averaging over 4 walks per 9 innings, so at times he can get a little wild.
2-1 pitch. Stanton goes through the shift into left field for a base hit, and it brings up Casey McGee.
Well, that's how you beat the shift. You just hit it hard enough to go right through it. A couple of home run derby contestants over there. Yeah, this ball is scalded between short and third, and no chance for Rutledge.
It is a thick infield grass, and obviously it's a very big ballpark, but here at altitude you need that. 415 straightaway center. Gaps get even bigger in left center. 350 down the right field line, 347 down the left field line. McGee climbs in with Stanton at first base. Morales has a good move and can defend his position well. Rosario got a piece of it. Stanton stays put at first base.
There's one thing about William Rosario behind the plate. A couple years, 12, 13, he led the league in pass balls. He's gotten better, but he also has a strong arm, so he kind of makes up for it with a quick release, and he'll throw to first base. He'll try to pick off runners every once in a while.
Marlins and Rockies saw each other long ago to open the season. And it wasn't in a galaxy far away for you Star Wars fans. It was at Marlins Park on the 31st of March. The Rockies and the Marlins played a 4-game series. And the Fish haven't seen any trace of the Rockies until now, here in late August. Morales' fastball is up. McGee's sitting on a 3-0 pitch.
I tell you what, it was a really nice series for Casey McGee, a way back when. Casey in that series was 6 for 13.
Stand at first, just underway. 2 outs here in Denver. Franklin Morales gets a strike. Fox Tracks had it right at the letters and plenty of the plate. And McGee swings, misses, ball in the dirt. Nice job by Stanton, who read the ball in the dirt and got a great jump and ends up at second base.
It's one of the things we've seen Giancarlo Stanton do all year. As soon as he sees that ball in the dirt, he instinctively, and I think it's worked every time but one, and he's been able to advance and sets himself up in scoring position for Casey McGee, who in that series against the Rockies where he had 6 hits, had 8 RBIs.
He's got a shot here now with a 3-2 pitch coming. Stanton at second, and McGee pulls it foul. It's an interesting matchup in that the Rockies are a better home team. They are a dreadful road team. They beat Kansas City. You see Ozuna on deck. Rockies beat Kansas City to even their home record at 500. They're 18-44 on the road. Miami's played very well on the road over the last 3 months. Strike 3 called. McGee rung up. Morales catches the corner, and he strikes out 3 in the first. Come on in, Coors Field. Marlins and Rockies just underway. As the Fish will face this Rockies lineup. It's brought to you by JM Lexus. Charlie Blackmon leads it off in right field. Very productive from the leadoff spot. Drew Stubbs in center. Justin Morneau's at first. Nolan Arenado's at third base. Corey Dickerson is in left. Willian Rosario behind the plate. Josh Rutledge filling Tulowitzki's shoes out at short. DJ LeMahieu, very good fielding second baseman. Morales in the 9 spot. Michael Kadire not in the lineup tonight. A sore hamstring. And there's a look at Henderson Alvarez.
You know, Rich, we talked about the ball game that Henderson Alvarez pitched against the Rockies in that 4-game series in Miami. He didn't fare well. He gave up 7 hits and 6 runs. 3 were unearned in just 3 innings. Making his first ever start here at Coors Field. And I think he's excited about it, going up against a fellow countryman from Venezuela, Franklin Morales.
Charlie Blackmon, and it is Star Wars night, and so the Rockies players.
That's just a leftover picture from Jason Worth.
Very nice. First pitch is a strike. Alvarez doesn't usually throw a strike when he does his old-fashioned windup.
Yeah, it's usually a high fastball.
High fastballs are not good in this ballpark. Blackmon has been very good in the leadoff spot. Alvarez calmly fields and gets the out. So 1 out before Drew Stubbs arrives. We'll remind you that Ram brings you Miami's defense.
A lot of territory, and I'll tell you what, those guys in the outfield can cover a lot of territory. Yelich, Ozuna, and Stanton. McGee, Jeff Baker at the corners. Echeverria and Solano up the middle, and Salty behind the plate.
Here is Drew Stubbs. And Stubbs takes a strike. Stubbs, the speedy outfielder. Cincinnati Red originally, an Indian for a season. Stanton's going to have to go a long ways to get there, and he does, and makes the catch. Be interesting to watch in this series how much the Marlins shade Stanton into right center, because in this ballpark, Tommy, there's a lot of room down the line.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see it as much as we have, because if you look down the right field line, it's a long way down there. Yes, it's 375, but down the line is 350. So I'm not sure we'll see him shaded over as much as we have.
Now former Twin Justin Morneau, and he takes a strike. There's no Carlos Gonzalez, there's no Troy Tulowitzki, but the Rockies still are a very good offensive team. Morneau takes away, and Morneau is part of that. Driven in 65, 26 doubles for the big Canadian.
Former Twin and former American League MVP.
He gets off easy, doesn't he? Into right field, and Morneau has a 2-out single. And it brings up Nolan Arenado. The Rockies still are atop the National League in just about every big offensive category. Slugging percentage as a team, they're slugging .444. Batting average .277. The next highest batting average in the National League, the Dodgers at .258. Their on-base percentage is high.
That's why I think when you play the Rockies here in Denver, you have to approach them differently than what their record shows, 50 and 76. And you throw that out the window because of the way they play at home.
Look at the disparity from the Rockies to the rest of the pack. Well, they've won 4 of their last 6 here on this homestand. Alvarez with Morneau at first.
I think Henderson Alvarez is look at that, Nolan Arenado. I think he's a perfect type pitcher to have success in this ballpark. He keeps the ball down. He doesn't throw a lot of curveballs. Sometimes they'll say the altitude affects the spin on a curveball. It's an infield. You talked about the grass, that if he keeps the ball down, his infielders can make some plays.
Arenado had such a fine season last year. First rookie third baseman in the National League to win a Gold Glove. Smokes it foul. He didn't just win a Gold Glove, he was dominant at third base last year. Baseball Prospectus called it one of the best years ever defensively by a third baseman.
Well, you don't see many young players, especially as you pointed out, third baseman, get the attention that he has with the defense that he's displayed at third.
Alvarez 1-2. Chopper over the middle. Solano has it, turns and holds on to it. And Arenado has a hit. Morneau gets to second. Solano, to reach that far for the ball, he extended himself such that he really didn't have a chance to get the ball to second.
There's that hard sinker. You see the ball pounded in the ground. A good effort, good play by Solano. But Donovan didn't have a play. He was thinking about it. As you go after this ball, you think about maybe a flip, because you know Morneau doesn't run that well, and that was your only shot. But he really didn't have a shot at second base.
Well, the hottest hitter that the Rockies have, National League Player of the Week, Corey Dickerson, up right now. Alvarez starts him off with a fastball for a strike.
And Dickerson hitless in his last couple games, but just coming off a 12-game hitting streak.
Dickerson, big swing and a miss, and he will swing at a lot of pitches.
Look at this, a lot of fastballs, the one changeup. So most of his pitches have been in that 93 to 95 range, and when we see that power changeup, we usually see 89 to 91.
Dickerson hit .321 in his rise through the minor leagues after being an 8th-round draft pick out of junior college in Mississippi. Oh-2. In the air, center field. Ozuna lines it up and makes the catch. And Alvarez is through the first. Scoreless start here in Colorado. Rocky Mountains in high definition. It's brought to you by H.H. Gregg. Looks very peaceful, doesn't it? Actually, it is peaceful right now here. Crowd is just settling in. This is the first time we've been in since they remodeled Coors Field. They have that big excuse me, rooftop up in right field.
Yeah, that's a new addition.
I was choked up because
I know it got you. Actually, the burger, the Chubb Burger Rocks got you going. There it is. But yeah, that over to the left. I'm starting to get choked up too.
Marcell Ozuna arrives at the plate. He takes up Jared Saltalamacchia, Danny Echeverria. Marlins here in the second. You see Ozuna's numbers are a very solid year and a terrific series against the Rockies. And he had a real nice finish to the homestand.
Boy, he did. He's homered in his last 2 games. His 4-game hitting streak, 7 for 15. But in contrast to the good memories that Christian Yelich has of Coors Field, not so the case with Marcell Ozuna. Trying to make a diving catch in center field. He injured his thumb, was subsequently, that's a hard one, I'm getting choked up on that, sent down after he got injured. So it's tough memories for Ozuna here at this ballpark.
That was a solid sound off the bat on that one. Dickerson over to cut it off. Ozuna around first, and he'll get just a single out of it. A loud single by Ozuna, and here comes Saltalamacchia. If you've got a group you want to come to the ballpark, come on out to Marlins Park. Party areas, suite rentals, special event nights, fundraisers. You can experience Marlins baseball through a variety of group packages. 305-480-2523 or go to marlins.com/groups.
Boy, it's really good to see Ozuna locked in the way he is. And I'll tell you what, you hit a ball by Arenado, and you know you've hit it well.
Well, Ozuna had a nice finish to his homestand. Saltalamacchia had a real nice homestand as well. Speed off the bat, 110 miles an hour.
He hit that ball hard.
And that's how thick the infield and the outfield grass is it didn't get to the wall.
Yeah, you talked to Rich about Saltalamacchia. Salty with a 4-game hitting streak, 6 for his last 13 during that time.
Last year for Saltalamacchia, the only time he had been in Coors Field. So this is just his second series at Coors Field. Breaking ball fights it off. And he enjoyed himself in just the 2 games.
Yeah, he did.
And so any Marlin player apparently is a stormtrooper. Is that it? That would make what, Giancarlo Darth Vader? It is Star Wars night tonight. That's a tough play, and it's going to land. Morneau can't pick it up, and that allows Ozuna to get to second easily in this ballpark. Yeah, the ball flies, but it's so big that pop-ups down each line, bloops into the gap, are a real nightmare.
Yeah, that's something that I know we've talked about it over the years. You talk about all those gaps, but there are a lot of balls that drop in front of outfielders. Now the right fielder, Charlie Blackmon, playing deep. He can't get there. It's a tough play for Morneau, the first baseman. And a good job by Ozuna, because you got to get off a little bit. You don't want to get doubled off if he catches it, but enough that you can get to second base, and he did.
And the fact that Morneau was holding Ozuna at first, that was certainly the difference in that ball falling in. Echeverria now. Let's see if Miami can make it pay off. Nobody out. Echeverria, ground ball in the left field. It's a base hit. Ozuna to third. He's held there. Dickerson up with it. He wasn't playing real deep. And they are loaded for Solano with nobody out here in the second.
Most of the time here at Coors Field on base hits to the outfield, if you have Ozuna's speed, you score. Really surprised Dickerson not playing deep. So because he was shallow, he got to that ball quickly. He got to it right when Ozuna got to third. But the consistency of Echeverria continues.
He's at first, Saltalamacchia at second, Ozuna's at third, and now Solano, who is looking to regain the stroke that he had in July. 3 for 6 this year with the bags loaded. He goes after the first pitch and fouls it off.
I think the other thing about Solano is that Donovan Solano right now at 297 with runners in scoring position. So in these situations, he's had good ABs.
Colorado's defense up the middle looking for 2. Arenado is backed up at third base as well. So you've got Alvarez behind Solano. Alvarez swings the bat pretty well. Solano shoots that grounder to the right side, out there, nobody there. And the Marlins get the run at the corners now with 1 out, and here comes Alvarez.
Good job by Donovan Solano. In essence, by hitting the ball that way and staying out of a double play, he also moves Saltalamacchia, who was at second base, moves him over to third with just 1 out. And you got a pitcher coming up, Henderson Alvarez, though, who we've seen swing the bat and help himself many times.
So Mike Redmond here with Alvarez and runners at the corners. If he swings away, there's the danger of the double play. Alvarez is a very good bunter as well. You don't have great speed at third with Saltalamacchia. That's Solano at first. And Alvarez swings and pops it out of play.
There are all kinds of options. A lot of pitchers would be bunting in this situation to get another runner in the scoring position, but you have lefty on lefty with Yelich coming up. You also have a pitcher who swings the bat pretty well. I like to rule out squeeze. You don't like to squeeze early and kill yourself in an inning. Double play, all of a sudden you're out of the inning.
Alvarez has 10 hits this year. Drives that ball right field. Blackman goes back, sets his feet, tagging Saltalamacchia. Here he comes, throw coming home. It's cut, and Saltalamacchia scores. Alvarez produces the second run of the inning. Boy, Henderson Alvarez, the 2 swings he took, Tommy, you could almost see that he wasn't going to hit a ground ball.
No, he was trying to hit a fly ball. He said, okay, you're going to pitch me away. I'll try to lift one, get it deep enough. Said, I know Saltalamacchia is at third. I got to get it deep enough. Played well by Blackman. The ball was cut off. I don't think there was a play at the plate. Good job. Once again, Henderson Alvarez helps himself.
No need to discard the bat. And here is Yelich. And the breaking ball misses outside. Franklin Morales started the first by striking Yelich and Baker out. Gave up a single to Stanton, and then he struck McGee out.
With a big play in this inning, that bloop single by Saltalamacchia.
Had a conversation with Jeff Baker about playing in this ballpark, how to defend in this ballpark, and he said it just what we were talking about. It, yeah, you're going to give up a home run every now and then, but it's the bloops, it's the outfielders that come in here and play so deep. The balls that fall in front, that starts the big inning. Yelich. Oh, a leaping catch by Rutledge. The Rob Yelich of a hit, but Miami gets a pair on 3 hits. The entertainer, Henderson Alvarez, doing his part, and it's 2-0 Fish. high. That's a mile high for sure. Let's check in with Allison Williams.
Well, Rich, you and Tommy mentioned it earlier. You have to approach this Rockies team a little bit differently here at home, where they have had a lot of success this year. While they have just 50 wins on the season, 32 of them have come here in Denver. While on the road, they're just 18-44. And the struggles on the road have been a common theme for the Rockies since their inception. The last 2 years, the Rockies just 29-52 on the road. And throughout their 21-year history, 2009 was the only season when they had a winning road record in their franchise history, 41-40 that year. So for whatever reason, it seems year in and year out, the Rockies really struggle on the road, but always play very well here at home. Guys?
Yes, they do, Allison. Willeen Rosario, Jeff Rutledge, DJ LeMahieu for the Rockies. Henderson Alvarez into his second inning.
That's incredible. Just one winning season on the road since their inception.
They did not have a winning record on the road when they went to the World Series in 2007. Jeff Baker was a part of that World Series team. National League champions.
First breaking ball, I think, that Henderson has thrown tonight.
That, I guess, is an Ewok for Willie Rosario. Rosario strikes out. As of the first out of the second. Fox Sports Supports is proud to collaborate with Stand Up to Cancer, groundbreaking initiative. And it's created to accelerate innovative cancer research that gets new therapies to patients quickly in order to save lives now. For more information, visit foxsportsupports.com. Seventh hitter for the Rockies. Alvarez has started the first 6 with a first pitch strike. And he misses to Rutledge.
I think when you look back in the big picture, the 2 weeks for Henderson Alvarez that he spent on the disabled list with a little shoulder soreness, I think the 2 weeks did him a world of good.
There's many teams that have toyed with that idea around baseball. Some that have actually done it, where you take a starter, especially a young starter, and late July, early August, give them 7 to 10 to 14 days off. It takes away a couple, maybe 3 starts, but what you get after that, at the end of August and into September, can be worth the price.
You get a nice fresh arm sometimes.
Josh Rutledge bounces it to second. Solano fires to first. And there's 2 outs. Time to tweet your fan photo. If you hashtag it, FL Fan Photo, it could be the AT&T fan photo of the night. I guess the Wookiee outfit was a little too hot for that fan. So
yeah, he decided to kind of unzip and take the head off.
Did he take the head off, or does it flip back? Here's LeMahieu now.
That is actually, Rich, that the topic you just brought up about pitchers, that's actually a new school idea that I would go along with. I actually see advantages in that, mainly because now if you had young pitchers building up arm strength and throwing 200 innings in the minor leagues, it's a different story. But you don't.
Alvarez out in front, 1 and 2.
Of course, Alvarez came into this game 144 2/3 innings, so he's closing in on 150. Just 102 last year. Remember, he started the year on the disabled list, but he has thrown over 185 innings. He did that his last year with the Blue Jays.
You know, looking at Alvarez with the Blue Jays and the Marlins, first 41 major league starts with Toronto. His ERA 4.52. This is his 41st start with the Marlins, and his ERA is 2.91.
Different league, different division, different ballpark, and probably a better pitcher.
Into center field, a base hit. LeMahieu, a 2-out single.
You can throw in a lot of things that total up to that.
But you like the trend, don't you?
Yeah, he's in his case trending downward with the ERA.
Franklin Morales now, as we pointed out at the outset of the telecast, a pair of Venezuelans facing each other. Alvarez is 4 years younger than Morales. And Morales is an interesting guy to be in the starting rotation here. He has been pretty much a reliever most of his career. First in Colorado, then in Boston. And back here, he's been in and out of the rotation this year.
Yeah, he's been one of those valuable guys because not only is he left-handed, but he's been able to fill both of those roles for both the Red Sox and the Rockies.
Alvarez misses outside. Miami opening play, 4 back in the wild card. San Francisco split. They resumed that protested game, lost it, and then won the second game. And the Giants are in Washington for a weekend series and leading the Nationals 4-2 in the bottom of the 7th. And of course the Nationals,
they've been ridiculous toward the end of games.
What have they got, 25 consecutive walk-off wins?
Well, they've won 5 of their last 6 games have been walk-off wins during their 10-game streak. I mean, in all fashion. I mean, the one yesterday was on an error, a throwing error.
Yeah, that was kind of a downer. It bounced into the camera well, and the umpire said, "Go home," and everybody walk off. But the Nationals certainly are a beast right now. Alvarez missing out, and the count 2-2. Washington's lead over Atlanta is 7 games. And of course, Atlanta has been playing quite well. They're back to 6 over. It's Atlanta and Pittsburgh that stands between the Marlins and the Giants in that second wild card spot.
A little interest going on in that Atlanta-Cincinnati game. Through 6 innings, Mike Minor has a no-hitter.
Minor's pitched well lately. Braves have played well lately. The Reds have not. Cincinnati is 6 under. Now Alvarez has gone 3-2 on the pitcher. LeMahieu runs, and that's right down the middle for strike 3 call. Franklin Morales goes down. The parade and a 2-0 lead. nice lightsaber there, young man. 2-0, Marlins on top. Tommy, there's your buddy Dinger. Let's check in with Allison Williams.
Hey guys, we told you at the top of the show how Christian Yelich made his major league debut here at Coors Field. Well, so too did Jeff Baker back in 2005. It was opening day. He was with the Rockies, and it was his first big league game. So as you can imagine, he had all sorts of nerves as he took the field for the first time ever. But he handled it pretty well. He went 2 for 4 with a double and a home run, and the team walked off against Trevor Hoffman and the Padres. So he certainly remembers his big league debut fondly, as well as the rest of his time here in Colorado.
And you know what, Allison and Tommy, when Baker joined the Rockies, he was drafted and signed. The first person that met him and walked him through everything was Michael Hill, the Marlins president of baseball operations. Welcomed him to the franchise, got him acclimated, and then left. And then next time Baker saw him, he said, "Hey, I'm sorry to chase you off." But they finally get to work together. Baker cracks that down the right field line, and it's into the corner, and it's off the wall. And it ricochets along the wall. It's picked up there by Charlie Blackmon. Boy, did that ball jump off the bat.
Boy, and it didn't slice. I think Baker initially thought it might slice foul. It stayed right on track and stayed fair. He gets himself a double. Yeah, 4th round pick of the Rockies. Spent 7 years in the organization, and a good part of that up with Colorado. Yeah, hit this ball hard. High fastball from Morales.
Yeah, you're right. His first few steps out of the box were from a hitter that thought he had a foul ball. Stanton up now, and you got Baker out at second base. Stanton singled through the left side of the infield, and there were 3 infielders over there, so you know he had to hit it hard, and he did.
Well, with the runner at second, they can't put the shift on now.
And of course, in the building tonight is Michael Hill, his first year as Marlins president of baseball operations.
A lot of Marlins fans on hand. There's a group of sponsors with us, so we've seen a lot of Marlins fans around the hotel here at the ballpark.
Stanton fouls it back to the screen. Well, we guessed.
As expected.
We guessed that Stanton would be Darth Vader, and he is. Everybody else a stormtrooper. Stanton is Darth Vader. That's, you know what, Tommy? On Star Wars night, that's the greatest compliment you can pay a hitter.
That's respect.
That's right. Pitch around him and make him Darth Vader. Boy, his home runs in this ballpark, we talked about the 7 in 11 games. All of them mammoth shots, including the longest one he has hit in his career, just shy of 500 feet.
Boy, he's had 2 good rips his last 2 swings, too.
Morales, much like that at bat in the first inning, doesn't seem to be bothered in challenging him. Jordan Lyles, Tom Kohler tomorrow night. 7:30 start for Marlins Live. Rockies infield shifted around. Baker the runner at second. A leadoff double. Miami trying to add to a 2-0 lead. Stanton busted his bat and sends that one into the seats.
Now Morales started against the Marlins in that series in Miami early in the year. Got a no decision. Gave up 8 hits and 3 runs in 5 1/3 innings.
You know, it's funny for Stanton. He hasn't done a lot of damage in hitter-friendly parks, except this one. This seems to be the exception. He's done the bulk of his damage this year at home in a very pitcher-friendly park.
Well, over the last 2 years, playing at Marlins Park, Giancarlo's put up some huge numbers. You got a lot of things going for him here. His success at Coors Field, and also Stanton came into the game hitting over 350 with 6 home runs against left-handed pitching.
This is one of those spots that Stanton has talked about often this year. The hurdle that he got over this year is that he doesn't have to hit home runs to knock in runs and to have his team win. And he smokes that one in the gap, left center field. Baker around third, on his way home. Stanton around first, didn't stop, into second, RBI double. Doesn't have to homer to knock in a run or help his team win. He has lived by that all year long. Yeah, the homers have come, but so have hits like this.
A little breaking ball that Morales wanted to bury inside, out over the plate with 2 strikes. A real controlled swing by Giancarlo to pick up RBI number 90 on the year. So back-to-back doubles here in the 3rd inning. Baker and Stanton.
Tommy Hunt, you were a major league hitter for a good deal of time. And I'll ask you this, with nobody out and a 3-0 lead, if you're Casey McGee, are you thinking about moving the runner, or are you thinking about driving him in?
If I'm Casey McGee right now, I'm thinking about moving the runner because it's going to make me stay back and hit the ball the other way, maybe to get back into that good zone he was in early in the year. I think he tried it there. Because you know how sometimes we'll talk about a player tries to do something like that, it'll help him get back to what he was doing. Because it's been a struggle. Casey McGee 0 for his last 17.
And Morales, sensing that, pounded him in. McGee was called out on a gorgeous pitch by Morales to finish the 1st. Stanton at second. Up and in. That's where a lot of pitchers have gone lately against McGee.
So I look for Casey McGee to get the job done here. If he doesn't move him over, he's going to drive him in.
Jeff Baker, Giancarlo Stanton have opened the 3rd with doubles against Franklin Morales. And Morales misses away. Morales started out in the Rockies organization when he was 16, signed out of Venezuela. Ozuna's on deck. Traded to the Red Sox 2011. A couple years there, and then the Rockies got him back this past December. I think one of the reasons why his career ERA here at Coors Field has always been under 4, which I think for anybody is a nice accomplishment. And McGee does push it to the right side. LeMahieu cuts it off, gets the out. Stanton is 90 feet away.
And to show you what kind of a team player Casey McGee is. All right, he did the job, but you know what? He's now 0 for 18. But he got the job done to help his ball club, and you'd like to think of the big picture. That's going to help his swing too.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Marlins, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins. Now, to make it pay off, let's see if Ozuna can drive the run in. The infield is in. Ozuna is hot. He continued a real torrid run with a single in the 2nd.
So many times you can tell, especially in Ozuna's case, when a hitter's seeing the ball and when he's hot, when he's not. A lot of times when he's not hot, he swings at a pitch like that. And Ozuna just took it, knowing that he wants to drive the ball and pick up a run here.
That breaking ball comes back and catches the plate. 7 for his last 11 is Ozuna. As Tommy pointed out, he's homered in his last 2 games. Stanton dancing from 3rd. Ozuna takes in, it's 2-1. Palmetto 57 Nissan brings you the leaderboard. Against lefties, the Fish have fared well. Infield in. 1 out. And Ozuna sends it to center field. Stubbs is back deep enough. Stanton tags. Stubbs makes the catch. And the Marlins, for the 2nd time, have driven in a run with a sacrifice fly. And that's got to make Casey McGee feel pretty good. He gave himself up. And his teammate picks him up.
Absolutely. There's the payoff. Casey knows that. Ozuna with the fist bump. He knows that Casey McGee helped him get that RBI. For Marcell Ozuna, RBI number 66 now.
Now Saltalamacchia, who hit a high pop-up that fell just beyond the reach of Justin Morneau down the first base line. It went for a single, and it was an important hit. It was the second hit of the second. Marlins would score 2 times there. They've scored twice here and have a 4-0 lead. Frank Menechino. Those two have worked very well together this year. And Morales with the count 3-0.
I think one of the interesting things, and I was reading a note that Walt Weiss way back in spring training, they talked about their pitchers, the Rockies pitchers, to have success in this ballpark, you've got to keep the walks to a minimum. Now the irony to that, the Rockies lead the National League in walks. Not only overall, but in this ballpark, in their home ballpark, too.
Second year for Walt Weiss. And Saltalamacchia goes after that high fastball. Weiss last year worked on a 1-year contract. And in the offseason, he was given a 3-year contract. Of course, a former Marlin. 3-2. Saltalamacchia in the air to left. Dickerson makes the catch. Miami has 2 more. Headed to the bottom of the third, 4-0. It's the bottom of the third. Our Geico quote, the Gecko arrives here. There he is. Even at altitude, the Gecko comes out. From Christian Yelich on the Marlins in the playoff hunt. We've played well enough to put ourselves in a position to make the last 6 weeks matter. We haven't accomplished anything, and we know that.
That's really interesting because if we all go back to March, to spring training, and if you were to say, you know what, this year, the last 6 weeks are going to matter, I think everyone would have been pleased.
Blackman puts down a bunt. McGee was on it, but couldn't handle it with the bare hand. And that's why Casey's so upset. He read it. He charged. It was a hard bunt. and he just couldn't handle it.
Yeah, he had this read perfectly. He's there. Not so sure if he grabs it, makes the play with the glove, but I mean it's a play that most third basemen make. He knows he should have made it, but it'll be a bunt single for Blackmon, I would assume.
It is 4th hit for the Rockies. This is the top of the Rockies order. Blackmon, who can steal a base, and now you've got Stubbs. Rockies are very happy with the progress of Stubbs, a guy who was prone to the strikeout early in his career and still is somewhat, but to have him hitting around with his speed, have him hitting around 300. He was a .233 hitter last year with 141 strikeouts and only 430 at bats for the Indians.
He was a guy for a few years, the Reds always would say if Drew Stubbs can cut down the strikeouts, he's our leadoff guy. He can play center field. He's a terrific center fielder.
Stubbs to center, hit that one well. Ozuna got turned around, makes the catch. That's his patented move out in center, isn't it?
Yeah, every time you look up, it appears that he gets turned around, but that's the way we've talked to Brett Butler about it. That's the way he goes after it. He looks over one shoulder, then turns and lines up and gets it ready. And he always seems to be there at the right time.
Now, most will preach don't turn your back on the ball, but for Ozuna, it's very much a field thing. He rarely misjudges a ball. His routes and angles are all very clean.
He goes back on balls, I think, a little better than coming in. Every once in a while, he'll get fooled on a ball in front of him. But, boy, his arm, 8 assists in the outfield.
Blackmon chased back. Blackmon has swiped 22 bases. The speed for the Rockies is at the top of their order with Blackmon and Stubbs. But a 4-0 Miami lead. Back to the screen. But it's early in this ballpark. The Marlins in their history have seen some weird and agonizing things happen. You can never have enough runs. You can never have enough arms in the bullpen. There was a 4th of July game here 5-6 years ago where the Marlins 17-15, 17-16, the Marlins lost.
I think Cody Ross had a 4-game series where he had 3 hits in each game.
And he drove in, I want to say, 15 runs in that series. That one's smoked. Right field and deep and gone. Justin Morneau's 14th.
Well, just like we were talking about. It's the 9th home run that Henderson Alvarez has allowed. That one a no-doubter for Morneau, his 14th of the year. When he's down in the zone, he's successful. When he's up a little bit, that one wasn't a lot. But most lefties, Morneau included, pretty good low ball hitters. That was that power change that didn't get down as much as normal.
That one gets down under the glove of McGee, and down the line it goes. And Arenado's got himself a double. And remember how the inning started on the bunt by Blackmon, a ball in which McGee had sniffed it out but couldn't handle it with the bare hand. 2-run homer, and now a double by Arenado.
Again, a couple of pitches that don't have the sharpness to it. It looked like Casey was there, but that ball was hit sharply by Arenado.
Arenado is 2 for 2. And Alvarez now facing Corey Dickerson. Dickerson, a guy that has good power and is a free swinger. He pulls it wide of first. Just missing EY. During August, Dickerson and Giancarlo Stanton trailing Justin Upton. Always good to see Jed Jerko. Justin Upton has 2 hits in that game in Cincinnati. To left, Yelich, track, makes a running catch. I know it's Coors Field, but the ball even seems to be carrying a little more.
Well, the 2 outs have been deep fly balls as well, center field and left field.
Put down your 2015 Marlins season ticket deposit now. Walk off with half your deposit in complimentary 2014 tickets. Ticket plans start as low as $380, so start saving today. 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com/2015 tickets. Here is Rosario. What's notable about that Atlanta ball game, it's in Cincinnati. Mike Minor is no-hitting the Reds. He's got an out in the bottom of the 8th.
Wow.
In Cincinnati.
So 7 1/3 no-hit innings. Now, are we jinxing Mike Minor if we say that?
No, man. There's no such thing. It's like the emailer the other night saying don't talk about Casey McGee getting into a double play. Said it's bad karma, dude.
Pirate fans happy. McCutchen, he's played the last couple of nights, has a couple of hits tonight and a home run. 18th home run.
Pirates a 6-2 lead over the Brewers. Top 5. Chopper. McGee has it. Across the diamond in time. Justin Morneau, a 2-run homer, and the Rockies cut the lead in half. Down the seats with a 2-run homer, and as a result, when Henderson Alvarez returned back to the dugout, you know what? I like that because
we talked about that the other night.
Last year, the Marlins lost 100 games, and you rarely saw any of that.
Just recently, we've seen Jared Kozart. We've seen Henderson Alvarez.
Seen Giancarlo Stanton.
Seen Giancarlo. We've seen Casey.
Echeverria, an easy out to open up.
And I agree with you. I mean, I think you can care and not show that and give that display. But I think sometimes, hey, when you play a 6-month season, day in and day out, hey, every once in a while when you care, it comes out.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to go all Paul O'Neill on it. Right?
Yeah, but Yankee fans loved him.
Yes, they did.
Still do.
Donovan Solano against Franklin Morales. Echeverria the first out. Solano bounced into a fielder's choice. That was in the second. You got Alvarez behind him. If you're just happening by, Miami got 2 in the second and 2 in the third. A pair of doubles opened up that third. Jeff Baker, Giancarlo Stanton, a McGee ground ball and an Ozuna sac fly. Henderson Alvarez had a sacrifice fly in the second. Solano drove in a run with his fielder's choice. And Morales strikes him out.
Well, Morales trying to do what his ball club wants him to do after getting a couple of runs and getting back in the game. He wants to go out there and have a quick inning.
Marlins Live pregame brought to you by your South Florida Honda dealers. Carl Pavano, Craig Minervini. Get you ready for game time tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7:30 start for Marlins Live.
You know, there's a great Carl Pavano note surrounding Henderson Alvarez. We talked about Alvarez in his 23 starts. The Marlins are 16-7. There's only been 2 Marlins pitchers in their history that the team has had a better record when they've started. One of those, Carl Pavano. In 04, the team was 22-9 in his 31 starts.
Boy, Alvarez scares the heck out of me every time he's running down first base. Put his hands up, got by the bag, and is okay. 4th. Alvarez is a guy that plays all out and is prone to put himself in some odd positions. He's such a great athlete. And on this throw, Alvarez, his hands up, stumbles over the bag. We talked about Alvarez, and Mike Redmond is right there with us.
Definitely leads the league in trainer visits, hands down. So, but fortunately, they haven't been, really serious ones. So, I know we all laugh about it, but really, I cringe at times.
Trainer visits.
That's one of the new advanced metrics in baseball. Well, Alvarez had a 4-0 lead cut in half. Mike Kozak, part of that staff.
Well, Mike Kozak and Sean Cunningham up close. Personal visits at times with Henderson Alvarez. He was upset with the pitches he made last inning. Let's see if he makes an adjustment here in the bottom of the 4th.
Josh Rutledge out of the University of Alabama. I keep wanting to call him Jeff Rutledge, an old Alabama quarterback long ago. DJ LeMahieu, and then Franklin Morales. Smooth swing. Ozuna's on the spot. Makes the catch, and we check in with Allison Williams.
Hey there, guys. I'm here with Senior Master Sergeant Brian Mantell, his daughter Brianna, and I noticed earlier in the game, as you can see, they're sitting right above the Marlins dugout, and when Giancarlo Stanton came off the field, he had a big smile, nodded, and pointed up to these two, so I wondered what was going on, and I quickly found out why. What did you bring with you to the game here?
I brought a picture of me and Giancarlo Stanton from 2011 when he visited us in Japan.
You've been in Japan 8 of the last 10 years. Tell me a little bit, though, about your background in South Florida, how you became a Marlins fan.
Right, I originally am from Plantation, Florida. I was a Dodgers fan, but when the Marlins came around in '93, I transitioned as a Marlins fan because we finally had a baseball team, and it was a great transition because we went from Dodgers to Marlins, and ever since, personalized jersey, and I'll always be true to my hometown and the Marlins.
So a member of the Air Force, and Giancarlo and some other Marlins came over to visit the Air Force Base in Japan. What was that experience like to have players from your favorite team come visit you in Japan?
It was really awesome. I'm a big fan of Giancarlo Stanton, huge fan. So I was really happy to meet him and everyone else that came.
What does it mean to you when you're over there serving our country to have players take the time and come over and visit?
Oh, it means the world. I mean, it's wonderful when they come out there. There are heroes. Even as a 40-year-old man, it's a hero to me. When we're deployed in Afghanistan, we look forward to watching the games as our rest from when we're out, doing our thing. So we really appreciate them taking the time. They don't have to do it, and they do, and it just brings a smile to everybody. And the kids get to see it because they don't get to come out to the ballparks like when you're in the States. So for them to be able to see what they see on TV in person is fantastic.
How long? So have you had this picture since then?
I have.
And you printed it up, and the hope is to get it signed here tonight?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, well, if I can help you at all, I'll try and wave them down after the game to make sure, all right? Thank you guys so much. Enjoy your time here, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Guys, back up to you.
All right, that's a great story.
It sure is.
The Marlins have been very active among major league teams at getting out and getting overseas to see the troops. DJ LeMahieu takes in Alvarez with a count 3-2.
Now, I don't think it's a visit to see the troops, but I was reading where a group of major leaguers are going to play some games in Japan this November.
Yeah, Major League Baseball has kind of revived that all-star tour. All-star teams from both Japan and Major League Baseball meeting in Japan. LeMahieu knocks it into center field. A one-out single tomorrow. Major League Baseball on Fox Sports 1 returns. It's a doubleheader, Giants and Nationals. And then the Braves against the Reds. Mike Minor has lost his no-hitter and the lead. It's a 1-1 game now. Reds and Braves in the 8th in Cincinnati. Coverage tomorrow begins at 3:30 Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streams live on Fox Sports Go.
Yeah, it's a really crazy game because Atlanta has 9 hits in that game. Cincinnati with just the 1. And it's a 1-1 tie. I think Billy Hamilton got that one hit for the Reds.
Drove in Zach Cozart. We have Morales up here with one out and a runner at first, trying to bunt.
Got it in kind of as the last out was made that year. Carl Favano in 04 was, the ball club was 22-9 in his 31 starts. And the only other pitcher where the team had a better record was Dontrell Willis.
Runner goes, little bunt and run. And it's fouled off.
Yeah, Dontrell in 03, the ball club in his 27 starts was 19-8. So it's one thing to look at the pitcher's record, but it tells you how the pitcher keeps his club in games as to how that team record is.
Rockies box score. Morneau's two-run homer has supplied Colorado with their runs. The Marlins have put together two-run innings. And Morales fails to bunt. Count 1-2. Sometimes when a hitter squares and pulls back, the umpire is looking to see if he bunts and doesn't get a clean look at the pitch.
Yeah, he's looking at the bat, the position of the bat. Sometimes loses sight of the ball.
You can't blame him too. I mean, that's
a tough call.
It is, because you're trying to do two things at once. Gets the bunt down. McGee on to first, gets the out.
Well, good job on the part of Franklin Morales to get that job done with 2 strikes to move LeMahieu over to second.
Charlie Blackmon now. Charlie Blackmon is the leadoff hitter for the Rockies, but he's driven in 59 runs with 15 homers, 21 doubles.
You know, he went to Georgia Tech, but he was actually drafted by the Marlins out of high school, and decided to continue on, and was drafted in the second round by the Rockies out of Tech.
Red Sox also drafted him, and both times he was drafted as a pitcher. LeMahieu, the runner at second. Ripped to right. Stanton there makes the catch. Hit it hard, but hit it at him. And Alvarez and the Fish still up 4-2. Baseball on Fox Sports Florida, brought to you by Palmetto 57 Nissan, Palmetto 57 Volkswagen, home of your money-back guarantee. By Rand Eye Institute, imagine clear, focused vision without the hassle of glasses or contacts. For more info, go to randeye.com. And by Hyundai, get the lowest prices of the year during Hyundai's model year-end clearance sale. In Denver, a mile high, Coors Field, 4-2. Marlins on top. It's the 5th. Remember Allison's guests who had a visit from Giancarlo? Stanton knew exactly where he was going with this one. Right?
Oh, yeah. He remembered.
Very nice. Top of the order to face Morales. And it's Yelich, who has struck out and lined out. Baker, who has struck out and doubled. And Stanton, who has singled and has an RBI double.
Yeah, Yelich just stayed back on a breaking ball and lined out. Really hit it well. Trying to continue a hit streak. Trying to get to 10 straight.
Morales wanted that one. It was out. Did it hit him? Or did he get the bat? It must have clipped the bat.
Well, you go back, Rich, to July 1st.
It hit the end of the bat.
Yeah, since July 1st, coming into this game, Christian Yelich a .330 average and an on-base percentage over 400.
On the season, .365 on base, .421 slugging. You know, that one got even closer.
Talked about Morales, how tough he's been in his career to left-handers. Hard to stay in when you have to kind of lean back on a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. But left-handers, lifetime against Morales, just 204.
Yelich hit it well. Last time, 3-1. Lines that one foul. This is year 20 for this ballpark. It's the third oldest ballpark in the National League, believe it or not.
That's amazing. So you got Wrigley Field, Dodger Stadium, Coors Field.
Marlins are headed to actually an older ballpark in the Big A.
A lot of changes. They've made a lot of changes there.
Angels Stadium for the 3-game series in Anaheim. This is one of those ballparks where they have done an impeccable job of keeping it up and updating it. We showed you the rooftop up there and right, the stream out in center. There's the rooftop. That's all brand new up there. The Mile High Rooftop Bar. I think the beer tastes better at altitude up there.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Yelich shoots it into center field. That's a base hit. Stubbs rushes up to get it. And a leadoff hit for the Fish here in the 5th.
And a 10-game hit streak.
Tomorrow's Tilt, brought to you by Checkers. Tom Kohler, Jordan Lyles. For Kohler, he goes after win number 10. Lyles, a former Houston Astro, has had a nice run. 6-1 and an ERA right around 4. Made just 15 starts.
Yeah, he spent some time on the DL. He had a broken left hand, a non-pitching hand.
Baker takes a breaking ball out. Baker banged a double right at the 350-foot sign down the right field line. That was back in the third, and when he hit it, he came out of the box looking like he felt it was going foul, but it never did. It stayed straight.
It's kind of like the home run that Donovan Solano hit off Adam Wainwright. Everybody thought was going to hook foul, including Solano.
Solano had crossed the plate towards first and then walked back towards the batter's box before it slammed off the foul pole. Baker clobbers that one into right center field. Yelich can run. Stubbs can as well, and he cuts it off. Yelich will hold at third. Stubbs saving a run by getting to the gap and cutting that off. Baker has another double, and the Marlins are set up second and third, and here comes Stanton.
That's where it really helps, as we've talked often, to have speed in the outfield, especially center field. In this ballpark, Stubbs has speed, and you're right, by cutting it off, sets up an interesting situation and decision for Walt Weiss. First of all, he's going to have his pitching coach go out and make a visit, Jim Wright. and that's going to stall a little time. But with nobody out, do you put another man on base? Do you walk Giancarlo? I would think a lot of clubs would, but we'll see what Walt Weiss decides to do.
Well, judging from his swings tonight, Stanton has hit it hard twice, a single and an RBI double. But you talked about what Walt Weiss preached in spring training, and that is absolutely minimize walks. And what Weiss is saying is don't put guys on, because then you get the big inning.
The other thing you have, Rich, is Walt Weiss looks on. Giancarlo, Christian Yelich, and Marcell Ozuna as an outfield, they have the highest percentage of their team's RBIs as an outfield of any team in the major leagues. Now, that was before 2 RBIs tonight, one from Ozuna, one from Stanton. So you can go over 43% of the Marlins' RBIs have come from their outfield. It's the best in the major leagues.
Well, there's the answer. That was almost a Miguel Cabrera moment there.
Wow.
Brooks Brown in the bullpen. Stanton almost got up on his toes, and that one from Morales is a little further out. Watch this, and watch Stanton.
Okay. Now, this is intentional walk number 22 on the year for Stanton. So not going to mess with Darth Vader.
Yeah, don't play with the dark side. And that brings up McGee. And of course, the other part of the strategy for Weiss is McGee leading the National League and hitting into double plays.
All right, go back. I'm going to take you back, Rich, to the last at bat of Casey McGee, where he sacrificed himself. He stayed back. He moved Stanton over to third. Let's see if that translates now into this at bat.
Well, Rutledge and LeMahieu up the middle are playing for 2. So is Arenado at third. Morneau is even at first. And McGee takes in. Obviously no place to put him. Yelich a single, Baker a double. An intentional walk to Stanton, and a big opportunity for the Marlins here at Coors Field.
So far, a couple of good takes by Casey McGee. And right now, Franklin Morales is on the ropes.
Does that mean a 2-0 fastball?
Yeah, he's missed badly with his breaking ball. So I would imagine he'll come with fastball. And I would guess Casey McGee would think the same thing. It was, but it was up high.
And McGee didn't like the call.
Wow.
Muttering.
High strike. Don't see that call very often. It's way out of the zone. Not a strike.
Well, that changes the whole at bat. Bags loaded, nobody out. Instead of 3-0, it's 2-1. McGee pulls it foul. So now it's a 2-2 count.
Well, you're right. It just changes everything, because 3-0, he might be swinging, he might be taking all the way. But all of a sudden, because that was a strike, swings at the next pitch, and it's 2-2.
Ozuna's on deck, and he's hot. And McGee fouls it back. McGee an 0 for 2, but his second at bat, a productive out. He pushed Stanton from second to third with nobody out, with a ground ball out to second. Stanton would score on the Ozuna sacrifice fly. Miami has 2 sacrifice flies in the game.
You know, seeing Yelich over there at third talking to Arenado, a couple of young guys going to be around for a long time.
McGee just stays alive.
You know, a little conversation. Yelich going back to the bag. Arenado comes over. They're continuing it. And I'll tell you, these 2 guys are going to be in the major leagues and be impact players for a long time.
Well, they're 2 LA guys too. Arenado's out of Newport Beach. Of course, Yelich out of Thousand Oaks.
We'll be staying near Arenado's hometown when we go to Anaheim.
Another 2-2. Good take by McGee. Full count, 3-2. Bags loaded. Nobody out. Miami up 2.
All right, what do you think? He missed with another breaking ball. So here comes the fastball again. But if you're Casey McGee, you've taken one that was out of the zone, which you thought was ball and was a ball, and it was called a strike. So now, if it's close, he's going to have to swing.
Had a good rip. Ended up on his back foot on a 92-mile-an-hour fastball.
That one had just a little more giddy up than the one that was out of the zone.
Bases filled with fish, and an opportunity for a big inning here. Morales with the bullpen ready. Another 3-2. And he missed up. McGee walks. The Marlins have 5 runs. 2 have scored on sacrifice flies, 1 on a fielder's choice, and 1 on a bases loaded walk.
That was the 9th pitch of that at bat, and it's going to be the last pitch that Franklin Morales throws. So a good job by Casey McGee. Again, it's baby steps. Good AB, fouled off some good pitches, and ended up drawing the walk and picking up an RBI.
And he didn't let the bag call bury him in the at bat. And so the right-hander is going to come in to face Marcell Ozuna. Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen in Colorado. The 5th. A run across, and Miami is already into Colorado's bullpen. Brooks Brown comes in, his 13th appearance.
No, we were talking earlier about Charlie Blackmon out of Georgia Tech, Brooks Brown out of University of Georgia. So he's up Athens way.
And he'll be facing Marcell Ozuna, who had a sacrifice fly his last time up, singled in the second. He is 7 for his last 11 with a couple of home runs in that spell.
The Marlins are in that territory. These are areas you always look for to get on a nice run, and if a nice run was ever needed, it's now on this road trip. But you have Christian Yelich, who continues to swing the bat well. Baker, who's in and out of the lineup in a platoon situation, swinging it well. Stanton on fire. McGee looks like he's starting to come out of it. Ozuna's swinging it well. Saltalamacchia on a 5-game hitting streak. So you have more than just one guy doing it. We had a situation early in the year when that was the case. Remember, Stanton got a little cold, but some other guys started to pick him up.
Well, the Rockies infield, they all look like they're trying to decide what to do here. They are playing almost halfway with Ozuna up and the bags loaded.
If you're a hitter in this situation and you're facing a guy you've never seen before, and he misses that badly with a breaking ball, and the bases are loaded, and there's already been a walk that walked in a run, you got a pretty good idea you're going to see a fastball.
See what he gets. Tapper towards second, scooped LeMahieu's throw out there. And a nice play by DJ LeMahieu. So the Rockies choke off 1 run, and here comes Saltalamacchia with 1 out.
And Ozuna did see the fastball. At halfway, because Baker's the runner at third, you can get away with that a little bit. If the runner's a real speedy guy, you might have to play in a little more.
And it helped for LeMahieu that he had to charge the ball. He was coming to the plate.
This is important here for the Marlins to add on and not allow Brown to come in out of the bullpen and shut down this rally.
Base is still loaded. The 1-0. And that one dives down low. Saltalamacchia throughout the year, whether he's hot or whether he's not, has shown that he will give you a deep at bat.
You know he's going to have a rip at a good fastball if he sees it down and out over the plate.
Boy, it's out. And it's 3-0. And he's in a great spot here. He's a mile high. Bags are loaded. 1 out. And he's got a reliever about to throw him a 3-0 pitch.
There are times that a hitter would have a green light. And it depends on the hitter and it depends on how the pitcher's been throwing. But the way Brown has come in and missed, taking all the way Saltalamacchia on that last 3-0 pitch. He's hacking here, though.
It's out. And Saltalamacchia walks. And the Marlins get another run. So a pair of bases loaded walks. It was close. Walt Weiss asking his catcher, Willeen Rosario, if it was out or if it was on the plate, and it looks like it's just out.
And a good take by Salty, because that's a pitch that, man, if he swings, he may roll over on that 2-seamer and hit into a double play. So good job. Pick up the RBI that way.
Now Echeverria.
I mean, a walk with the bases loaded isn't going to make a lot of highlight shows, but sometimes it's a real good at bat.
Echeverria back home, got one. Rosario to first, and they get the double play. Miami gets 2 more, and stretches the lead back to 4, 6-2. All weekday home games at Marlins Park. Just $20 a person. You and your group will receive a game ticket in the Cleveland, a free drink. Oh, hello, camera 12. Food specials. Happy hour begins when the gates open. Is restricted to guests 21 and older. Go to marlins.com/groups. That is a happy hour.
You know, Rich, maybe next year for my birthday.
Henderson Alvarez, our Volvo line scorer. 6 runs, 8 hits for the Fish, 2 runs, 7 hits for the Rockies. 2, 3, 4 in the Rocky order. Stubbs, Morneau, Arenado. And Alvarez misses in. Stubbs came in hot, 8 for his last 15, but he's 0 for 2. He scorched one his last time up, a liner to center that Ozuna ran down. There's been a lot of loud outs. That Braves-Reds game, in which Mike Minor had a no-hitter deep into the 8th, lost the no-hitter and the lead, is now in the 10th. 1-1 Atlanta and Cincinnati. The Giants cracked it open and are putting the finishing touches on Washington. 10-3 San Francisco. Now, if the Nationals come back and walk off tonight, then you know.
That is a heck of a story.
Then you know.
Big night for second baseman Joe Panik. 4 for 5, a home run, 3 RBIs.
Now, if that were in New York, the Post the next day would say panic attack.
See, you love it. I don't think the San Francisco Chronicle used to be a Herald, though, too, didn't there?
There was an Examiner that went under.
So the Chronicle would probably not have that, but then again, you don't know.
There's Morneau now. He's singled and has a 2-run double. Dribbles this one out Solano's way.
You know why I always enjoyed the San Francisco Chronicle? Because it had the green sports page.
And that's,
you could always tell, you know, I'm going right for the sports page, so I'm going to go for the green thing.
I grew up as a kid in that area.
Was it always that way?
It was always that way. Because you could pick it out of the paper right away. It had also the San Francisco Chronicle, when I was growing up, one of the great columnists in newspaper history, Herb Cain. Nolan Arenado who has singled and doubled. In the hole and in the left. Arenado's got a 3-hit night.
We're going to have to check tomorrow, Rich. I'm giving you and myself an assignment. Where Arenado and Yelich is, where they cross paths. Maybe in some area code games. Maybe playing against each other somewhere in Southern California.
Here's Dickerson now.
Today, all of a sudden, Nolan Arenado has 7 hits in his last 11 at-bats. We talked about Dickerson. Dickerson 0 for 10 after having a 12-game hitting streak stopped.
Royals came through here on one of those small 2-game jaunts. Matt McBride hit a grand slam on Wednesday. And the Rockies beat the Royals 5-2. That one is clobbered.
Wow.
Right field, way up and gone. It's Colorado. And the Marlins will scratch out a couple runs, and then the Rockies hit a 2-run homer. And it's their second of the night. Morneau hit one in the 3rd. Dickerson hits one here in the 5th.
Boy, 18th home run for Dickerson. Both home runs have been no doubters, but this one in that second deck, and as soon as it left the bat, Henderson Alvarez knew it was way out.
That one is going to reach the seats. Alvarez had given up just 8 homers in 23 starts coming in. But a pair of home runs here, it's back to a 2-run ballgame.
Told you at the beginning, first game that Henderson Alvarez has ever pitched here at Coors Field. Just his second start ever against the Rockies.
I got a uniform question for you. How many teams still wear the vest as part of their regular uniform? Echeverria spinning, throwing. Whoa! That was quick. Etch got it off in a hurry, and he throws out Rosario. But Corey Dickerson goes second deck. Marlins and Rockies, Coors Field in Denver. Along with Tommy Hutton, Allison Williams, and our entire Fox Sports Florida production crew. John Sulzer, our producer. Jim Holly, our director. Ken Lee, our graphics coordinator. Donovan Solano, Henderson Alvarez, and Christian Yelich will play along here in the 6th against Brooks Brown. Second inning of relief for Brown. He came in and finished the 5th. And he gets a strike on Solano, who's 0 for 2, but he's knocked in a run with a ground ball out. Solano swings and misses at a pitch low and away. Brown has his first strikeout.
No, we talked about these two teams, Rich, with the Rockies, a 500 team at home and well below on the road. The Marlins, since May 14th, the second best road record, second only to the Dodgers of any team in the National League.
Alvarez takes a strike. Alvarez helped himself. A sacrifice fly in the 2nd. Bounced out in the 4th. Tough news today for a Miami product and a Baltimore Oriole. Manny Machado is expected to undergo right knee surgery. LeMahieu with Brown getting over there to cover.
And that's the other knee for Machado. Wow. Even the news for Carlos Gonzalez, Cargo, here in Denver. Not good with his knee surgery. He may not even be ready, from what I read, for the beginning of spring training.
The Rockies have a lot of money invested in Cargo and Troy Tulowitzki.
And other, I mean, we're talking about knee surgeries, the knee injury, surgery that the young pitcher Garrett Richards of the Angels, who's been their ace, probably would have faced the Marlins in that series. He's out. He's going to be out 9 to 12 months. That was a big blow to the Angels.
Angels still have plenty of pitching.
They do, and they're hoping for Josh Hamilton to start hitting the ball, which he has the last couple of days, it looks like.
Matt Shoemaker yesterday helped shut out Boston. Yelich up the middle again. This one backhanded. LeMahieu, no chance to get Yelich. And Christian Yelich has a 2-hit night.
Yeah, he's so fun. You see this ball in this area. It's a good effort, but DJ LeMahieu never had a chance. It's out of the box, straight to the bag. I love the way Yelich goes straight to the bag. Doesn't leap for that final step. He just goes straight through, hard and fast.
Jeff Baker has a pair of doubles. Both of those came at the expense of Franklin Morales. Rockies starting a lefty. Baker getting the start at first. Garrett Jones anxious to get in the starting lineup because Jones has hit very well in his career in this ballpark. Not quite Stanton-esque, but pretty impressive. Jones has hit .396, 8 doubles, 4 homers in just 13 games. That's an .854 slugging, a .431 on base. Baker got a 3-hit night, shoots it into right field, picked up by Blackman. And Jeff Baker just keeps on swinging. Likes coming back here. He was an original Rocky, played here for 5 years. And that brings up Stanton with runners first and second. Coors Light, cold hard fact. Career OPS at Coors Field. I told you it wasn't Stanton-esque. It's close.
Hey, it's in some great company too. Look at that, above Miguel Cabrera.
Well, Stanton tonight has singled, RBI double, was intentionally walked in the 5th. And Brown being very cautious, misses way outside. For Brown, his first time facing Stanton tonight.
So many times we see Brett Butler with a runner in scoring position. He's right over in front of the dugout.
He's got to be to the home plate side of third to send a runner, but that's crazy with Stanton up. You don't normally see Stanton come unhinged like that, do you?
A little bit of a breaking ball that backed up, and it was a hanger. I mean, it was a perfect pitch to hit. So he almost came out of his shoes. He's got such strength and balance in that lower half.
See what he gets, 2-1. It's way out, and Brown looks like a guy who would much rather face Casey McGee.
I think what happens to pitchers sometimes, especially a young guy that's never faced Stanton, they try to throw that slider so hard that it turns out to be a bad slider. It's that one that Stanton missed.
3-1, 2 outs. And that's out. Stanton did not swing. Bags are loaded. And here comes McGee, who walked with the bases loaded. Jim Wright back out.
Yeah, that was clearly a young pitcher not wanting to give Stanton too much to hit, even though he knew it would load the bases. 81st walk. We talked, well, 82nd with the intentional walk.
So here's McGee. He walked with the bags loaded in the 5th. Pushed a runner to third with a bouncer to second in his second at bat and was called out on strikes all the way back in the 1st. And McGee takes a strike. An 0 for 18 slide for McGee. And he hits a chopper out towards short. Rutledge flips, and Brown works himself out of trouble. Bottom of the 6th coming up in Colorado on Star Wars night.
Star Wars night.
There was a Chewbacca that looked pretty good.
I mean, there's now
the Stormtroopers.
I have to admit,
they're not going all in on this.
I have to admit, I have not seen every single Star Wars.
I did, I think, but it was a long time ago.
Wow, wait, what happened there? Henderson Alvarez. He's given up a couple 2-run homers. Fun in the truck. Getting into the Star Wars spirit. Josh Rutledge, DJ LeMahieu in the pitcher spot. Rutledge is bounced out, flied out. Echeverria. Easy play. He makes it look so easy.
Wow. Night in and night out. We see a couple of plays every night that somehow he makes, but you're right, he makes them look easy. We saw him go up the middle with a spin move. Now he goes into the hole, goes down, pops up. Perfect throw to get the out. I think now you look at the pitch count and you look at the part of the order. Top of the order, if it's a 1-2-3 inning, top of the order in the 7th inning. So this could be the last inning for Henderson Alvarez.
Matt McBride is on deck. He of the grand slam in the last Rockies game, and LeMahieu can't hold up on a high fastball. It's 0-2. Alvarez misses away. Miami needs a win to stay 4 back of the Giants for that second wild card. The Giants beat the Nationals 10-3. Cardinals lost 5-4 to the Phillies.
The other thing about Henderson Alvarez, he's pitched so many tremendous games. Matt Belisle starts to loosen up. So many great games, great home record, 6-2, ERA of 1.46 at home. That he deserves a win on a night where he has given up a couple of home runs.
LeMahieu with a base hit. Marlins have a Star Wars night coming up. It's on September 6th. It's a Saturday against Atlanta. It's the 5th annual Star Wars night at Marlins Park. Ticket package includes admission to a private pregame celebration with the Star Wars characters, limited edition Billy Wan Kenobi bobblehead, the opportunity to win exclusive Star Wars prizes, and a tickets the Lexus Legends level. Proceeds from ticket sales will benefit Stand Up to Cancer. Now, to buy the ticket, you have to buy it on the Marlins website. There's a look at Sam Dyson. Marlins.com/special events. So to buy that ticket package, Marlins.com/special events. That'll get you the party with the Wookiee. It'll get you the bobblehead. A ticket in the Lexus Legends level.
Henderson Alvarez just trying to negotiate his way through this inning. Matt McBride, the pinch hitter.
Pride of Lehigh University. Lehigh had gone almost 50 years. Check that. 1984. I thought it was in the 60s, but the last Lehigh player to play in the big leagues was a left-handed pitcher named Paul Hartzell back in 1984. That's still a long time.
It is. And McBride spent a long time in the minor leagues. Just about 3,000 career at-bats as a minor leaguer. You mentioned big grand slam he hit this past week.
Alvarez with the count 2-2. Did he go? Yes, he did. It's a swing and an out and a big strikeout for Alvarez.
Well, it's only for Alvarez strikeout number 4. Bottom line, he's done what you want pitchers to do in this ballpark. We can't stress it enough. He hasn't walked anybody. So yeah, the 2-run homers were earned because he didn't walk anybody prior to the home runs. So 4 strikeouts, no walks so far for Henderson Alvarez.
Charlie Blackmon. Of course, when you mention Lehigh University, another name that pops to mind is that of Tim McDermott, Marlins pregame producer,
who's the original Pride from Lehigh. It's a big out right here because Charlie Blackmon has home run power. He's hit 15. Last time up, lined out to right field, hit the ball hard.
A swing and a miss, and digging it out is Saltalamacchia, and he tags out Blackmon. Henderson Alvarez through 6. Oh, let's take it back. There you go. Marlins starting lineup. Walt Weiss, ladies and gentlemen, your shortstop. Look at Jeff Conine is in there as well. Cookie Rojas.
Cookie. Dave Magadan, who we just saw.
There's Niner. What's Niner doing and hitting 8th in that lineup?
That's all right. He got 4 hits.
Yes, he did.
He moved up quickly. Well, Henderson talking things over with Chuck Hernandez. Talking a little mechanics, talking about the game.
Alvarez. Let's look at the lineup one more time, shall we? Orestes Destrade is working for the Rays and Sun Sports. Jeff Conine's working with us.
Magadan, a hitting coach we just saw with Texas.
Here's Ozuna. And Matt Belisle.
Boy, a guy who's been kind of a fixture in the Rockies bullpen, 6th year with the Rockies. Veteran right-hander. He's been one of those guys who generally is in the strike zone. Good fastball and slider for the most part.
All 6 runs that the Marlins have scored are on the line of Franklin Morales. 4 innings, 8 hits. 2 walks and 4 strikeouts. Brooks Brown a couple of scoreless innings, though the Marlins had opportunities against Brown.
Well, each team with 10 base hits.
Ozuna flips that one to right. Blackman broke back and now comes in and makes the catch. So went out here in the 7th. It brings up Saltalamacchia. Of course, they still use the humidor here. 2002 is when they first instituted the humidor, where they store the baseballs to keep the moisture in.
That's amazing. If you had asked me what year they instituted the humidor, I would have said 5 or 6 years ago. So 2002. Wow.
That was pre-Blake Street Bombers, right?
Yeah. Pre-Vinny Castilla.
When they broke up the Bombers, they brought in the humidor.
Dante Bichette, Larry Walker.
Don't forget Preston Wilson.
Preston, yeah. Preston was huge here.
Preston had an enormous year.
We can never forget Preston Wilson.
I don't think we call a series here at Coors Field without at least once during the telecast going to baseballreference.com, pulling up Preston Wilson's career and marveling at the season that he had in 2003. And so that was post-humidor, folks. That's impressive.
You know, I should have known that because Preston's usually the first to point that out to us.
Preston Wilson in 2003 had 43 doubles, 36 homers, hit .282, slugged .537, and drove in 141 runs.
What was his OPS that year? Because in those years, nobody talked too much about the OPS.
.880
on base and slugging.
And he stole 14 bases. Echeverria takes a strike.
And covered a lot of ground in the outfield.
Well, the top of the order has done a lot of damage for the Marlins. Echeverria 1 for 3 with a hit down in the bottom of the order. Bottom of the order has driven in some runs. Saltalamacchia in the 6th spot, a bases loaded walk. Solano a fielder's choice to drive in a run, and Alvarez a bases loaded walk. Or excuse me, a sacrifice fly.
Echeverria's at bat in the 5th inning was a big one. I'd like to see the Marlins just add on another run, but get that one hopper back to the mound. It turned into a double play. One thing too about Matt Belisle, he doesn't waste any time. He works quickly.
Echeverria takes, and he draws a 2-out walk. It brings Solano up, and you get the pitcher spot due up next. Rosario out for a visit with Belisle. Marlins trying to nudge back over the 500 mark, and it looks like a night where the Fish need to win to keep pace with everybody in the wild card. Pittsburgh is beating Milwaukee 8-3. Cardinals atop the wild card actually lost 5-4, but the Giants, who have that number 2 wild card spot, There's a liner, right field line. It's fair, and into the corner it goes. And Echeverria's racing for third. Brett Butler will send him. Here comes Echeverria. He's going to score. And Donovan Solano with an RBI double with 2 outs in the 7th. And Miami has a very important run, makes it 7-4.
You know, sometimes you have opportunities and situations where you think you should get a run or two, and then other times they're like bonuses. This is a bonus run. 2-out walk. Echeverria, Donovan Solano hitting 8th, picks up his 2nd RBI in this game, bangs that into that right field corner. Fun to watch Echeverria score, too, from first base. He was flying.
Jordani Valdespin will take the at-bat now. When you come to Coors Field, you can never have enough runs, and you can never have enough bullpen arms. And you can never have enough of Tommy's favorite mascot, Dinger.
Yeah, we'll see Dinger in the 9th inning.
Thankfully, we haven't seen him at all tonight. Rockies are going to appeal that Echeverria missed third. Todd Tichenor, third base umpire, says no go. You wonder if that came from the video room and said, hey, take an appeal over there. You could challenge it. Remember the Marlins did it in San Francisco and it got a big out.
Yeah, who was it?
Joe Panik, wasn't it?
Yeah, clearly missed the bag. Rounding first base. Yeah, he's right on it. Whoever the runner was, it was a first base. It was rounding first base, I think, too.
Valdespin with a count 1-0. Atlanta and Cincinnati are still 1-1, bottom 11. Now the Marlins are big Red fans tonight. I'd like Cincinnati to knock off Atlanta. That's one of the things at the end of this trip. If the Marlins play well here in Colorado and play well in Anaheim, they'll have a chance to look squarely across the diamond at one of the teams they're chasing in the wild card. And a 3-game series in Atlanta.
And remember the last time the Marlins were in Atlanta, they took 3 of 4 from the Braves in that 4-game series.
September schedule is not an easy one. Marlins have 8 with the Nationals. They go to division leading Milwaukee. So there's 12 games against 2 teams that are leading their division right now. Six with the Phils, 6 with the Mets.
A lot of games with the Nationals the last 10 days of the season.
Missed in. Valdespin walks. And that brings a hot hitting Christian Yelich to the plate. Wild card standings. And this is updated with the finals that you see. Marlins have fallen 4.5 back. They can get back to 4 with a win here. Braves a 1.5 games back. As you see, they're tied in the 11th with the Reds. Giants finally kept the Nationals from walking off. And the Cardinals' lead in the number 1 spot in the wild card is sitting at 1 game. After losing in Philly 5-4. Phillies win it.
Yeah, that was an Adam Wainwright start for St. Louis. Gave up 5 runs, 4 earned runs in his 6 innings. So not a sharp Adam Wainwright.
So here is Yelich. In his last 4 games, and that includes this, it certainly isn't through this one, Yelich has 11 hits. He was robbed of a hit by a leaping Jeff Rutledge at short in the second.
How about this for a 10-game hitting streak? He's 21 for 41.
You got good wheels. The trail runner Valdespin. Solano's at second. Slow breaking ball is low. With Yelich's night tonight, he's at 290. And so he doesn't have to be this hot, but if he keeps climbing, that 300 season is well within reach. Pitch is in. And it's 2-1. Yelich fights off a fastball. Valdespin and Solano. A run across here in the top of the 7th. And a 7-4 Miami lead. Delisle in the dirt. Rosario had to wrestle that one to the ground. So the count's full now with 2 outs. That's a head start for Solano and Valdespin. You've got a hot Jeff Baker on deck. He's 3 for 4 with 2 doubles. On the move. In the dirt. Here comes Baker.
Tell you what, I really enjoy. You and I had a little conversation before the game. We're talking about Christian Yelich. And around the nation in baseball, you hear so much about a Bryce Harper. A lot of it's because of other things, not on the field. I think of a Bryce Harper and a Christian Yelich. To me, there's no comparison in their swings. Yelich is more disciplined, has a smoother swing. Harper's very violent swing, chases a lot of pitches. Harper's hitting in the 260s this year. I know he had an injury. He's coming back from that. But so many more people around the baseball world know of Bryce Harper than Christian Yelich.
And a lot of that is from the very start when Harper skipped a year of high school to get to junior college. And
got to the big leagues as a teenager. Made the All-Star team when probably shouldn't have that year, but he did.
Baker with a count 0-1. Yelich at first base. The bag's loaded. Baker fouls it off, and Delisle the count 0-2. Baker was talking before the game about playing at altitude, playing here, and he said the one thing he found and that he and his teammates were aware of is that you can't do too much work, take too many swings, do too much weights, do too much cardio. A liner right at Morneau. Wow. Baker hit it right on the button. Miami gets a run and leads at 7-4. Colorado. We promised you earlier the AT fan photo. Just tweet your photo, hashtag it FL fan photo, and you could end up just like Sierra. That's a Henderson Alvarez themed fan photo. It's a very nice shot. AJ Ramos first out of the bullpen, and the Marlins pen will try to deliver this win for Alvarez and get Alvarez to 10-5. To do that, though, they're going to have to keep the ball in the yard. The Rockies have a pair of 2-run homers. Drew Stubbs is up. Ramos misses in.
Keep the ball in the yard and keep the ball in the strike zone. In his 6 innings, Alvarez, as we pointed out, didn't walk anybody, and you'd like that trend to continue. You were talking, Rich, about Stubbs earlier and the number of strikeouts. He had a year in 2011. Struck out 205 times. He led the National League in strikeouts. He was with the Reds. Hit 15 home runs, but 205 strikeouts.
So, off the top of my head, the top 4 all time: Mark Reynolds. Adam Dunn.
Adam Dunn's up there. Reynolds.
Is Stubbs in that?
Stubbs might be in that group. They may have blown by Rob Deere.
Oh, I think so.
Or Pete Incaviglia. Inky let it fly.
Those guys were before their time.
Yeah.
A swing and a miss. And so Stubbs does strike out. Lexus of Pembroke Pines gives you our broadcast schedule. Get you ready for tomorrow, 7:30 for Marlins Live, Sunday 3:30. Late night with the Fish, kids. From Anaheim, 9:30, 9:30. There's no television on Wednesday. Huh? Take the day off.
I think I will. Hey, we love it, Rich, when the kids out there help us out on Twitter. You and I were talking about that challenge in San Francisco, the base runner who missed first base. Folks helping us out. Kids telling us Brandon Hicks.
Brandon Hicks
was the runner. So, good stuff.
Whoa!
What a pick.
Bakes. Little leather. Well, Jeff Baker had a hit stolen from him at first base, and he returns the favor to Justin Morneau.
Boy, that's a one-hop Olay pick, and take it yourself. Got plenty of time. So all around, terrific night for Bake.
Arenado swings and misses. Well, Nolan Arenado has 3 hits. 3 for 3 with a double. And a lot more hair up on the scoreboard. He drew the log straw. He got to be Han Solo in the Star Wars night lineups.
Well, he's a young guy. Han Solo, young kid. Arenado just 23.
There he is. It's got Harrison Ford's hair of long ago. Into left, 4-hit night. Arenado round first, on his way to second, and he's in. His second double, his 30th of the season.
Boy, a big night for Nolan Arenado. Rich, our crack staff helping us out with some of the strikeout totals. You're right about Mark Reynolds, Adam Dunn. 223 for Reynolds, 222 for Dunn. Chris Carter,
yes,
the Astros, 212. Reynolds again at 211, and then Stubbs at 205.
And these are just random tweets and texts that pour into Tommy's iPhone during the course of the telecast.
Well, and also, as you said, ahead of their time, but still way behind. Rob Deere's best was only 186. And Inky's best was 185.
Child's play in this modern day. Dickerson.
Compliments of John Chimchuk,
one of the baseball historians.
Baseball historian and solid member of the crack staff
that Fox Sports Florida has on the payroll. Dickerson clobbered one. Over the Rockies bullpen, 2-run homer. And that's been the Rockies offense. 2-run homer by Justin Morneau, 2-run homer by Corey Dickerson.
A little overthrow on that last fastball, so Salty out. Quick chat with AJ.
Boy, the Tigers are taking it on the chin. 15-5, Minnesota beating the Tigers in the bottom of the 6th. And so the next thing you want to know is how are those Royals doing? Quite well.
Quite well.
6-3 in the bottom of the 9th, trying to close it out. And it's over.
It's over.
They win it in Texas. Dickerson, a big swing and a miss. It's a magical ride right now in Kansas City. Cookie Rojas may be swimming in the fountains again.
That'll up their lead to 2.5 games over Detroit.
We'll have a chance to see one of Cookie's sons in Anaheim. Victor, television play-by-play for the Angels on Fox Sports West. Baker gathers it in, steps on the bag. Giancarlo Stanton coming up. Miami in Colorado, a mile high and a 7-4 lead. And Preston Wilson's, well, their paths crossed strangely last year right here.
Jalapenos, cheddar cheese, and stinking green chili sauce.
Stinking green chili sauce.
Whatever that is.
This sounds like something else.
Stinking green! Way out of here. Just like that, it's 4-2. Giancarlo Stanton has left the yard. What kind of accident was that on your stinking green call?
That's his only stinking green home run. That was his 7th. Remember we told you he's hit 7 here at Coors. That was number 7.
That was terrific.
And it was stinking green.
Great work. Nick Massett. Third out of the bullpen for the Rockies. And here is Stanton. And the Rockies have walked him the last 2 times up, once intentionally, the other sort of intentionally. Allison Williams, that was a big moment.
Yeah, and the stinking green chili sauce was pretty good from what I remember, too. The hot dogs were tasty, as was that Giancarlo Stanton home run. He's hit some blasts here, guys. His 7 home runs, averaging 459 feet. I asked him about playing here, what he likes. He said it's one of the parks he looks forward to coming to, and that's not always the case. There's parks he hits well in that he doesn't look forward to necessarily. But he said it's a combination of things. Of course, the ball flies, and you can make not even good contact, and it has a chance to be a home run, which is often the case with him in most parks. But then, of course, the outfield, and the outfielders having to play deep, so even if you get jammed, it can drop in for a hit. But he had a good description, I thought. He said Coors Field is a lot like Marlins Park, but with a jet stream.
It's a good point.
And no Clevelander.
Yeah, that's right. With his 2 for 2 tonight, all of a sudden Giancarlo's creeping near 300 again. His average at 298.
90 runs driven in. He had an RBI double in the 3rd. Massett's out in front of him, 0-2. One and 2. This was a Franklin Morales start. He went 4 innings. And Stanton swings and misses and strikes out. And that opens the 8th. Dodgers are home against the Mets and up 2-1 in the bottom of the 5th.
Boy, they got another just fantastic game from Clayton Kershaw last night. Kershaw 15-3 with a 1.82 ERA.
McGee takes outside. The Angels, the Marlins have opened that series on Monday night, are in Oakland with a 2-1 lead. Los Angeles in the top of the 5th leads at the Athletics 2-1. They're beating Sonny Gray right now.
The Braves have taken a 3-1 lead. Justin Upton, 2-run homer in the top of the 12th. He is making a big charge and getting his name in the MVP conversation with what he's done over the last few weeks.
McGee takes a strike. That must have been a hang with them. Ride to the ballpark for the Angels. Didn't they play in Boston last night? The Angels were in Boston last night, and they're playing in Oakland tonight. McGee, a sharp ground ball off of Arenado's glove, and a base hit for McGee. And nice to see. It snaps an 0 for 19.
Boy, and I'll tell you what, as a hitter, when you're buried in one of those offers, you hit a ball like that, and out of the corner of your eye, you see it caroms off Arenado's glove. You're assuming that the shortstop's going to barehand it and throw you out. So Casey McGee gets a little bit of a break. He needs it. That's good to see.
Here's Ozuna.
Yeah, you're right. The Angels beat the Red Sox 2-0.
That's what I mean.
That was that Shoemaker game.
That's hang with them, because by the time they get on the plane and fly to the West Coast, Ozuna smokes one into center field. McGee pulls into second.
Oh, but Rich, you gained 3 hours. You pick up 3 hours. Wouldn't you like to have all those 3 hours back?
Saltalamacchia coming up. 1 for 3 with an RBI. Toyota trend. Last 7 games at Coors Field, the Marlins have won 5 of 7. The runs are not that big a difference, nor are the ERA. So the Marlins have won some close ball games here, some low-scoring games for Coors Field.
Tell you what, Marcell Ozuna with his second base hit, 2 for 4 tonight. He was 7 for 15 in that 4-game series in Miami to start the season against the Rockies. So he's had a nice year against the Rockies so far.
Saltalamacchia fouls it off. Brian Morris in Miami's bullpen. Opportunity here to add on, which in this ballpark is always recommended. Slow roller. Morneau flips. And Massett is there. Here comes Echeverria. Here comes a reminder that MLB at bat is something you need. If you're a baseball fan, you can text at bat to 31826 or go to marlins.com on your iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry, Windows Phone 8, whatever device you might have. And we've been told there's over 400 different mobile devices. If you're a baseball fan, you need MLB at bat. Massett from the windup with runners second and third. We saw Echeverria flinch at the breaking ball.
Looking back at Echeverria's consistency, because we've talked about it all year. He hit 280 in April. He was down a little bit in May, but 286 in June, 280 in July, and right around 270 here in the month of August. So that's how he has stayed consistent all year. Have you ever had an app disappear just like out of nowhere? I mean, you have it on your phone, the next time you go to use it, it's gone. I've had that happen.
You know, I probably have, but I haven't noticed that it's been gone yet. There's probably one missing right now.
Yeah, if the next time you go to use it, you'll say, where'd that thing go? I always just figure it's in the cloud.
Two on to Echeverria. All right, Tommy. If you're going to pull that one out of your ear, if you could be a Star Wars character, who would it be? Ball in the dirt.
I think I like Chewbacca. I mean, he gives a gruff look, but
heart of gold.
He's got a heart of gold. He's nice. Underneath all that, got a heart of gold. How about you?
Oh, easy. Lando Calrissian, coolest guy.
You come up with one nobody knows about
in the galaxy. He gets all the chicks. Here's a 3-2. It's Billy D. Williams, man.
But Billy D was cool in any role.
That's right. 7-4, Miami. Gulfstream Park game summary. Just keep that music going. 7 runs, 13 hits for the Fish, 4 runs, 11 hits for the Rockies. Christian Yelich has swung it well. Giancarlo Stanton, Jeff Baker.
With the top 3 hitters, 7 for 12. Garrett Jones comes in at first base along with Brian Morris, who comes in to work this 8th inning. You know, I love that late night with the Fish music, especially when the Marlins have a 3-run lead.
Now this change with Morris in and Jones in and Chavarria to first in time to get the out was announced as straight up, which the first thing you think about is something wrong with Jeff Baker.
But as I'm looking on the scoreboard, they have the lineup and they make the changes in the scoreboard.
Right, the home plate umpire though distinctly turned around and went straight up.
Yeah, so the scoreboard has it wrong because the scoreboard has Jones hitting in the number 9 spot.
But from watching Clint Fagan, it was straight up.
And Morris up there in the spot where Baker was hitting.
You would think too, in this ballpark, if you're Mike Redmond, if you didn't have to put Jones in, and he's not planning on having Morris pitch more than an inning, you wouldn't want to burn. You wouldn't want to burn a guy off the bench, right?
I think you'd want to keep a guy who certainly has had the success that Garrett Jones has in this ballpark. You want to keep him available just in case you needed to add on. But hey, Mike Redmond knows what's going on down there in the dugout.
And that replay, the last we saw of Jeff Baker, who had a terrific night. So something to stick around for Marlins Live, and we will uncover and discover. Josh Rutledge fouls it off.
So
Morris, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so Jeff Baker just kind of disappeared like one of those apps.
You think Clemson has an early season Thursday night or Friday night game?
Bake wants to touch base with.
Rutledge swings and misses. Another angle.
A little grit of the teeth, who knows? He's had a foot problem, a toe or ankle problem about a week ago. It's been a while, but they always wonder when a move is made like that. It gets us wondering. That's all.
Here's LeMahieu in the 8th spot. He's 3 for 3.
But in the meantime, Brian Morris has come in with some good pitches and gotten a couple of quick outs.
There's a few guys in this Rockies order that have had really nice nights. LeMahieu 3 for 3. Nolan Arenado's 4 for 4. Justin Morneau is 2 for 4 with a 2-run homer. Corey Dickerson has a 2-run homer as well.
With the configuration of the lineup that Walt Weiss had tonight, everybody on his bench was a right-handed hitter. He didn't have a whole lot of options. Tough year for the Rockies skipper.
Well, last year, in his first year, they were 74 and 88. And at this rate, they're not going to get close to that. 50 and 76. Marlins Live brought to you by Checkers. It's late night out with the Fish. But Checkers has got you covered. Craig Minervini, Carl Pavano. How do you score without hits? Well, stick around. And the wild card chase will get you update on all the games going on. Those that have finished, those that are still in progress. Atlanta did beat Cincinnati 3-1 That would be strike 3 called. Morris bends it in there and gets the strike. Rockies done in the 8th, on to the 9th.
About the scoreboard switch with the names because we see Reed Johnson in the on-deck circle. It's not Garrett Jones.
Hey, the Giambino is still here. Scoreboard is not correct. Don't believe everything you read.
Well, the scoreboard did what they used to always tell you, don't assume. Don't assume anything.
Because when you assume, Tommy, it makes a... It's a bad idea.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, I know it's late night, but I know what you mean.
Oh, the
Imperials and the Rebels.
Star Wars night. So the Marlins, the evil empire. All the Marlins, when they've come to the plate, have up on the scoreboard, rather than Star Wars characters of fun and, you know, the good side, they've all been the dark side. They've either been stormtroopers, and then Stanton was Darth Vader.
What we have, the Marlins will have their own Star Wars night, September 6th.
That's right.
Saturday against the Braves.
See, what you needed was Stanton to hit a 470-foot homer, and then as he rounded the bases, say, I am your father. I own you. Solano, a little tapper to third. Arenado winds up and gets him. And there's an out here in the ninth.
Well, there's a perfect example of why he won the Gold Glove. Why you hear so many scouts and baseball people talking about his defensive ability at third base, not to mention the fact that his 4 hits tonight put him over 300.
Steve Cishek. Reed Johnson gets the at-bat. And goes after the first pitch. It's 0-1. Christian Yelich on deck. Logan, the 4th out of the Rockies bullpen. Ouch. That's not what Reed Johnson bargained for.
You know, there are times when he goes up there and is thinking about that to extend a rally, get on base. This wasn't one of those times. And anytime a ball's at your legs, that's the hardest one to get away from when it's down near the shins and ankles. He plants that front foot. Once it gets planted, it's hard to move.
Don't rub it.
No, he's not going to rub it.
He's been there before. The aforementioned Jason Giambi, the active leader. Yelich 2 more hits tonight. He's walked, lined out, struck out.
It's actually turned out to be a gorgeous evening, hasn't it?
Temperatures in the low 60s. The fall is coming. Of course, it could come here in 30 minutes. It could drop another 20. We've been here where
yeah, we were talking about that.
It's been, game time was 80, and before we left, it was down in the 40s.
I think the Marlins have been snowed out here.
Yes, they have. That was my very first year in 2005. Marlins have been snowed out in Minnesota. That was last year. They had that snowy game in the World Series in '97. Right, in Cleveland?
Cleveland. Yeah, by the Minnesota series, then the Marlins had to play that doubleheader, day-night doubleheader. Ricky Nolasco, Jose Fernandez. What's amazing about this game? You think Ricky Nolasco ever thought he'd be pitching for the Minnesota Twins?
Let alone in the snow.
Yeah, let alone in
Minnesota.
Well, 2 hits, 2 walks. On base percentage continues to go up for Christian Yelich.
Tell you, 2 American League teams who are playing well won tonight. Kansas City beat Texas. And Minnesota's lead over the Tigers is now 17-5.
Wow.
That's like back in the Fran Tarkenton, Alex Karras days. Swing and a miss. The other American League team that's playing well that won tonight is Seattle, and they beat Boston in Boston 5-3.
I'm just wondering if they've got the 10-run reel going, that Minnesota game.
Remember what you said about don't assume?
Yeah.
Nobody else has the 10-run rule. Here's the 0-1. And this is this is a ballpark that helped contribute to the very first 10-run reel. It was in the middle of a 10-run game somewhere where I think I pondered out loud that, when it's 10 runs either way, we should just show all the funny stuff we've got just to amuse ourselves. And then we captured the squirrel running in super slow motion, back then called X-Mo. Been renamed a few times.
Come to think of it, though, the guys at Fox Sports North, Dick Bremer, Burt Blyleven, I think they would embrace a 10-run reel.
Oh, Burt especially.
But Blyleven would for sure.
Burt Blyleven, one of the great practical jokers in the game. Jones swings and misses at a high fastball. The count's 2-2. If you've just joined us, Jeff Baker got the start at first. Had a big night. 3 for 5. Garrett Jones in this ballpark has been awesome in 13 games. 396 average, 8 doubles, triple, 4 homers.
And a couple of right-handers the next 2 games for the Rockies.
Jones takes down low from Boone Logan. I would think Jones is going to get a pretty good pitch because you got Giancarlo Stanton on deck. There is a right-hander throwing in the Rockies' pen. And Boone Logan just looked out there just to make sure.
That's not a good sign when you're out there on the mound and you're checking the bullpen.
That may dictate on how he approaches Garrett Jones. It's in. Jones walks. And so here comes Stanton. Let's see if Walt Weiss comes out to make a change. That's Jim Wright, the pitching coach. I don't think Juan Nicasio has been up long enough.
And he's just throwing easy.
Either that or he was up just to decoy.
Well, Boone Logan has come in and done everything you don't want a pitcher to do in this ballpark. He's hit a batter and he's walked 2. And just like that, without the advantage of a base hit, the Marlins have 3 base runners.
Now, if they wanted to take it a step further here on Star Wars night with Stanton appearing as Darth Vader up on the scoreboard, they could play the Emperor's March, the music every time Darth Vader appears.
The other thing to think about, if the Marlins extend this lead, will Mike Redmond get somebody else warmed up once it gets out of a save situation?
Here is Stanton. And he'll face the lefty. Bags loaded. And a rip at a fastball. It's 0-1. Well, Dyson is up. And he would probably be the guy if Stanton were to get a hold of one and put more runs on the board. I think Stanton is thinking about that a little too much.
You know what? The last couple of ABs, he's had those kinds of swings as opposed to saying, all right, let me just drive one into that right center field gap and clean the bases that way. But the last 2 ABs, he's pumped it up a little bit with the swing. And that's not always good.
Stanton a liner in the left center field. That's
go.
a base hit. Johnson will score. Yelich around third. He will score. And Stanton has 2 more RBIs. And the Marlins have a 5-run cushion.
All right, he just toned it down a little. Got that a little off the end of the bat. But with that single, drove in 2 more.
92 driven in on the season for Stanton. And now Walt Weiss comes out. Nicasio's ready. Just a nice, easy swing. So a 3-hit night for Stanton. 3 for 4 with 3 runs driven in. He walked twice. And Boone Logan exits. Juan Nicasio comes in. Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen. Carlos Stanton driving home 2 more here in the 9th. Casey McGee awaiting the arrival of Juan Nicasio. You see Nicasio making his 20th appearance. A slight drizzle is starting. For those of us that were going to walk back to the hotel.
Just going to say that might hinder our walk back to the hotel.
It's an ominous sign. Here's McGee. Atta girl.
I have an umbrella too.
I know you do. What happened?
I'm trying to be tough.
What happened to that Mary Poppins look we like so much?
I'm trying to be tough here. You know, it's not raining that bad.
Very good. Here's McGee. McGee, center field. That's a base hit. Jones to third. He'll be held there. And Casey McGee with a single to center field. And the bags are loaded again. And here comes Ozuna.
All right, I love going back to that at bat that Casey McGee had when he moved the runner over. And since that time, he's had some terrific ABs. A couple of singles, single in the 8th, single in the 9th. But he walked after that AB with the bases loaded, got an RBI. So it's funny how sometimes a little thing like that will get you going.
Now Ozuna, 2 hits, a sac fly, a ball in the dirt, and Rosario gets a piece of it. We said at the outset of the telecast, to come in here and win games in this series, the Marlins could not afford to score 3 or 4 runs like they've been doing over the last month. Now they've been successful at it because Mike Redmond has had terrific bullpen work, and the Marlins have been winning 1-run games. 32-19 in 1-run games.
Since the All-Star break, 14 1-run games. The good news, Mike Redmond has seen his ball club go 11-3. That's just since the All-Star break.
Here this weekend, though, in this ballpark, we're talking in the neighborhood, you got to score 6-7 runs to win here consistently. Ozuna had a pretty good pitch to hit him. Lines it foul, counts 1-2. There's only 1 out. Marlins have certainly seen just about everybody the Rockies have in a well-stocked bullpen. You have to have a well-stocked bullpen here.
Well, the Marlins have just continued to press and press and press. They've had base runners. You go back to the 5th inning. They left 2 on in the 5th. They left the bases loaded in the 6th and 7th. Left 2 on in the 8th. So they had even more opportunities. But that's what you have to do. You have to just keep giving yourself opportunity after opportunity in this ballpark, and they have.
Ozuna, left field, it's deep. Dickerson back. Get out of here. Grand slam. Marcell Ozuna. And Miami blows it wide open.
I tell you what, we're going to have to upgrade and update that graphic of the percentage of RBIs the Marlins outfield has driven in. Because for Ozuna, he has 5 RBIs on the night. Stanton has 3. Yelich with none tonight, but a couple of hits. Boy, look at this. High fastball and a no-doubter for Marcell Ozuna.
You think about what Ozuna's done the last 3 games. He's homered in all 3 of the games. And it's 13-4 Miami. And here's Saltalamacchia. Within 1 run of the 10-run reel.
Ozuna with 5 RBIs tonight has his total on the year to 70.
Nicasio misses up. Trying to do some quick math, which is never easy for me, of Ozuna's last 3 ball games. Now goes Saltalamacchia. Ozuna's last 3 ball games, he is 8 for 14 with 8 RBIs. This is last 3 ball games. 8 for 14, 8 RBIs, and 3 homers.
Well, he's been that way, streaky. We talk about it. And he's been in a little bit of a down streak. But I'll say he's out of it now.
And if you want to go back to his last at bat on Sunday, he's 9 for his last 15 with 3 homers and 10 RBIs, because he had a 2-run double in that last AB. Echeverria shoots it foul. So a great time to get Ozuna's bat back.
Well, it's something that we've talked about over the last month or so, the strength of the Marlins' young outfield.
And Echeverria strikes out. Well, Miami hangs a big crooked number up in the 9th. 6 runs. Marcell Ozuna. Past midnight on the East Coast, late night with the Fish. A Rocky Mountain High, 13 runs. The Rockies with just 4. And Marcell Ozuna, big night, has driven in 5. A grand slam here in the 9th inning.
I love it when there's some symmetry to all of this as Sam Dyson comes in. The 13 runs tonight are the most runs since the Marlins scored 14 back on May 21st. There was a home game against the Philadelphia Phillies. And guess what? Marcell Ozuna hit a grand slam in that game.
Very nicely done, Tommy Hunt. You've tied it up in a nice little bow. Sam Dyson.
Well, I've gone wayward a few times tonight, so I had to bring that one together.
Yeah, the disappearing app thing was vintage Tommy Hutton. It's Dyson, and he's out of Miami's pen. Well, a lot of things to like in this ball game. Stanton over, and it's out of play. The fact that the Marlins put 13 up on the board. Some guys staying hot. Ozuna especially. Yelich's streak extended to 10. Stanton has driven in 3. Jeff Baker was 3 for 5. The fact that Henderson Alvarez went 6. Gave up a couple of 2-run homers.
I'm going to throw the best one out there of all. The fact that the Marlins pitchers, Alvarez, Ramos, Morris, and so far Dyson, have not walked a batter.
All right, I'll slide one more in, and that's the fact that if you're Mike Redmond, you've only had to go 3 deep in your bullpen at a ball game here at Coors Field. Brandon Barnes is up. Cracks it fair into the corner. Shoots around. Stanton trying to corral it. Still rolling on the track. Going to be a triple.
What fastball out over the plate, and Barnes finds that corner, and he found it with a ball that was hit sharply, and you saw what it did once it got in that corner. You come here once a year, it's tough to get familiar with certain areas, and Barnes ends up at third base with a triple.
And Dyson facing Charlie Blackmon. Well, the Marlins feel pretty good about themselves. Meanwhile, Minnesota has scored 20 runs on 20 hits at home against the Tigers.
Who's doing the damage in that one
for the Twins?
Eduardo Escobar, shortstop.
There's a base hit to right. And Blackmon has a hit. And the Rockies pick up a run.
This is where, if you're Mike Redmond, you don't want to have to go to that bullpen again. You'd love to see Sam Dyson settle down and get through this inning.
Andrew Romine is pitching right now for the Tigers.
He's a shortstop, isn't he?
He's not a pitcher. And he's getting knocked around a little bit. An inning, 4 hits, 3 runs. Dyson out front 0-2. Drew Stubbs. That's one of those where you see the score and you got to call the box score up because you want to see who had the big nights.
Well, and you also want to see that poor guy who gets nothing. And the Twins have 20 base hits. And Kurt Suzuki's 0 for 6. There's always one guy.
Well, who's the guy tonight for the Marlins? Is there a guy for the Marlins tonight? I don't think so. I think everybody's got a hit.
I think everybody contributed. That's good. Yeah, Yelich a couple, Bake with 3.
You don't want to be the guy. Don't be the guy.
Salty has a base hit.
Don't be the guy.
Etch, you don't want to be the guy. Everyone has either scored or has an RBI, so this has been a total team ball game.
And Dyson gets Stubbs. Here's Justin Morneau. You talked about the Marlin relievers having not walked anybody. 9 walks issued by the Rockies.
Well, the relievers and Anderson Alvarez. Now, we mentioned earlier the Rockies lead the league in walks.
That one almost got us, Tommy.
Say just a little bit to our left.
Marlins Live is coming up. Late night edition. Does that mean they'll have lava lamps on the set? Carl Pavano wearing puka shells?
Craig and Carl been firing down coffee.
Yeah. Charlie Blackmon keeps trying to take second base. The Marlins aren't holding him on. And he's had to run down there a couple times. That one fouled off. Morneau takes away. Well, Justin Morneau, a 2-run homer back in the 3rd. Tom Kohler, Jordan Lyles on Saturday. Brad Hand gets the start on Sunday for Miami. Oh, now see, finally we had to wait for it. But there he is. Tommy's favorite mascot is behind home plate. Is the only mascot in baseball
Who taunts in the 9th inning.
Even with his team down 13-5.
Yeah, you just get a different feeling in a 1-run game.
Dinger trying to use the force. No, I think that ball actually scared Dinger. Two and two. Dyson trying to bring this one home. Nudge Miami back over 500. Full count, 3-2. Dodgers beating the Mets 5-1. Top 8. Boy, 2 more hits for Justin Turner, who's having a really nice year for the Dodgers.
Well, it was his home run that won the game last night.
He and D. Gordon are 2 unsung heroes. Gordon's had a marvelous year.
Because Uribe's hurt a little bit, so Turner's gotten to play. Turner got to play some shortstop for a while. He's been very valuable.
He's hitting .318 on the season.
And yes, that's the Justin Turner we saw a couple of years with the Mets.
Justin Turner overdrive, the former Cal State Fullerton star. Pitch is in. And the Rockies with runners at first and second.
And there is the first walk issued by Marlins pitching. And to your point, D. Gordon has 3 hits in that game. So there you go.
The Dodgers have called up as Thribel Arrubarrena, who has taken a U out of his name. Now that he's reached the big leagues, the spelling on his name has changed. There's your guy.
You know, I would think that would be one of the things on the new commissioner, Rob Manfred's agenda as he takes over in January. To ban Dinger from behind home plate.
I think that would be on the back burner. Pace of game, maybe. That one fouled at the plate. Yes, in the pantheon of baseball mascots, this is not Tommy Hutton's favorite guy. Is there a mascot in baseball you would rate lower than Digger?
Can't think of one. I mean, Fred Bird doesn't stand behind home plate like that. Certainly Billy doesn't.
Even Lucille's pretty good in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Now the coyote they've got in Arizona, is it Baxter or is it Bobcat? Sorry.
Bobcat, he's really athletic.
He is.
He moves around. Yeah.
Digger's got a boiler going there too.
I think Baxter's my least favorite.
Yeah.
He harasses me.
He harassed you a little bit,
yeah.
didn't he? Yeah, that's
He's
right.
just pesky. He's not funny with his harassment.
I'm thinking of Dinger's boiler. It is Coors Field.
Well, this is not what.
No, this is not.
This is not what Mike Redmond had in his plans here. Chuck Hernandez is on his way out. Steve Cishek was up, getting ready for the ninth.
You
right
just
now,
you just wanted to get through this inning. You didn't want to have to make another call down to the bullpen.
Chris Hatcher is up.
Chris Hatcher has answered the phone.
Marlins have the Angels on Monday. Angels had a 2-1 lead in Oakland, and that has been erased. Oakland has come roaring back. Coco Crisp has hit his 8th home run. Sam Fuld has an RBI triple. And Oakland leads the Angels 4-2, bottom 7.
I think Coco Crisp had a big bases clearing triple a couple of nights ago, too.
Oakland starts play 2 out behind the Angels.
On a good note, Rich, it looks like it stopped raining. If you're still interested in that walk back to the hotel.
Dickerson up the middle. Echeverria, 1 there, 2 there, got him. And the Marlins win it. Sam Dyson bailed out on a terrific play by Adeiny Echeverria, who gets Dickerson at first. Big night for the Fish. Marcell Ozuna drives in 5 with a grand slam. Giancarlo Stanton drives in 3 with 3 hits. Jeff Baker with 3 hits. A lot to talk about. 13-5 the final.